27.
Why you like this, E?
Are we
Trying to
live?
be all professional. I do a countdown before we bring the thing in, and then...
Oh, we're definitely live. I can tell he's definitely playing to the audience. Hi. 69. There we go. That's today's number. Bentham was suggesting it earlier. Wouldn't stop talking. Okay. So, is the music playing?
Yes.
Oh, there we go. Perfect. So, welcome to Ascension, brought to you by Rollfred, our lovely weekly Dungeons and Dragons long-form campaign where everyone has now managed to get up to the giddy heights of level 12. Right, we have a few announcements we went over, and then we have some shilling, and Benson's writing things really quickly.
The announcements literally as he's reading them out. No,
I wasn't even looking at Discord, and I could tell what he was doing. I see that face. It's that sly smile smirk of, oh, I forgot something.
There
I'll
was
do it
extra
quickly before I
back-end
notice.
things to do today, in my defense.
Yeah, Bentham is really focused on the back end. He's always focused on the back end. He's got his eyes on it. He's making sure all the back ends are good.
Nice and tight and locked away.
Exactly.
Away.
So, anyway, I guess I have to stall with announcements for slightly longer. Yeah, if you're joining us today because of weird time zone shenanigans and so on, and because of scheduling, we started with the after show of last week, which should give you some context to what is going to happen to a small element today, but also is going to be a good way to be like, hey, you should totally check out a Patreon where you can find those. Those are one of the earlier tiers on our Patreon if you want to go check them out. So they aren't normally that long. Bentham had a lot of opinions on his gods, so I think that's valid though. They were an interesting bunch.
It was like watching a dating show. Cobalt and I were doing a little show party of our own.
It was basically
while we were watching it.
Patron speed dating.
Catching up.
Yeah, and then you had scoring them. It was great.
Yeah,
that was
they didn't
E's
really
idea.
bring the pizzazz. They
Yeah.
didn't give me like a gift, welcoming gift, and I don't know if I'd go out with them again next time.
So, really, before we dive in then to the announcements, Bentham's obviously not going to reveal this because that hasn't happened yet, but Maggie, who would you pick out of them to be your patron?
None of them. I'm just kidding.
There you
I think Arena would stay with the Raven Queen.
Oh yeah, but who would you, not Arena, who would you pick out of
me?
them if you
I
had to
don't
pick one of them?
I don't know.
Huh?
None
No
of
one?
them.
Or Maggie would go for no powers, but beholden to no
No
one.
powers. Yeah.
Cobo, who would you go for?
I mean, I'd stick with Mishra, even if you got a weird version. I kind of need to go back and rewatch that. But I'd go second pick would be Bahamut for sure.
Solid.
For sure.
I guess we'll maybe find out.
Like magic and dragons. So
Magic dragons.
It's a good mix. Seems like a cool dude.
Right. Okay. So, I have the announcements now. Show is wonky for a while. Bentham, do you want to explain about that?
So, as it was today, for a little while the show is going to be starting an hour later, but we'll be running the after show of the previous week in that first hour, so that you've got something to watch while we're not here. And the show will be shorter as a result. We're starting an hour later and we're still finishing at the same time, so it's going to be a 3-hour show for a bit. Though next week, we're back to normal in terms of time zone. So for some people, we suddenly jumped 2 hours later today because clock changes happened as well. But this weekend, a bunch more people's clocks are going to change that resynchronize them with us again. So if your clocks change this coming weekend, the show will be 1 hour earlier, again as it was previously for you most likely. And for those whose clocks just haven't changed and won't change throughout this entire thing, we're just an hour later for you for the next 5 months. So, it is what it is. Best thing to do is just follow us on Twitter, and then you'll see our announcement tweets when we go live. And also, if you follow us on Twitch, it'll email you when we go live and so on and so forth. There's various different methods Discord tells you to. Just one of the ways. and then you can just keep track because you get notifications.
There you go. Character sheet coming out soon for both shows. Unfortunately, Ascension ones got delayed because HP got weirdly set. Like, Bentham was like, I think something weird happened with HP immediately after the show or something, and I dragged out new tokens and compared them to the old tokens, and apparently tokens had become unlinked, which was good because the old tokens didn't get updated, which made me go, wait, why do people have less HP? Why do two of you have exactly 75? What is going on?
So yeah, it turned out that I had 86 HP after the last run of the Beast Tower, and then somewhere between then and like the next time we were in a fight, my HP just got turned into 75. So I've been 11 short this entire half chapter.
Oh my gosh.
Oops.
That's rough.
So we fixed it now, and I'm now at 90 HP instead of 75, because also the level up from the last tower.
I'm at 69.
I was so close.
Yeah, you were close.
Yep.
We could have been 69 bros.
I know. Missed opportunity.
I mean, the best thing is, like, if Maggie reduces her HP to 0 in one hit, it'll pop up with 69 on the screen.
Does it?
Yeah, do it.
That's funny.
Make your HP 0.
Okay. Just on my
and then when you
character
refill
sheet,
it,
or...
it'll do on your character sheet, yeah.
Okay.
Because you'll take 69 damage, and that will be a floaty.
I don't see a floaty.
There it is.
Oh, on the overlay. That's funny.
Nice. And then if you heal to full, it'll give you 69 HP, and you'll get another floaty.
I could just troll people.
Exactly. Nice. So, you know, we're totally not Charlie Shenanigans over here. Anyway, other than that, that's kind of it for the basic announcements. Of course, we also have our sponsor, Roll20, who allows us to do all these shenanigans. So we use them for pretty much all our shows. And via the medium of the online platform for tabletops of Roll20, we can roll dice, battle maps, dynamic lighting. We did use it. I was going to say we didn't use it last week. No, we did. I did ask Benson to do like 3 rolls. So we did even use it last week. Despite the fact last week was mostly talking heads.
Again, Nat 20.
One of them wasn't Nat 20.
Was it a persuasion on Erithis?
Something like that, yeah.
Good stuff. If I was to get a Nat 20 on any of the rolls I made that day, that would be the one. So I'm happy with that.
That's fair. So if you want to check out Roll20, you can do so. That said, Bentham.
Oh, it was a performance.
Michelle?
It was a performance. There it is.
Yeah, I was thinking persuasion, it would actually been really good, but because of performance, it was only really good.
I came off sincere, but yeah, I didn't change your mind. Anyway, how you can support us? You can support us on Patreon. That's one of the ways, and it's the main way that you can support Rollfit and allow us to do all the cool things that we do. You can get a bunch of different tiers that give a bunch of different awards. You get MP3s of all of our shows. You get after shows we record after every show. We talk about what happens in the show. And you get character sheets of allies and enemies and all that kind of thing. And other stuff as well. You can name NPCs. You can watch the monthly recaps so they haven't talked about the events of the previous month. You can take part in the once monthly one-shots for the legends that take place in the Discord, and you can be in a private off-camera game that you get to be a part of. There's more health shenanigans happening now, of course. And you can also support us in other places too. You can do the Twitch things, you can give us bits, you can give us tips, read out the tips at the end of the show. Thank you for being awesome and supporting the episode. You can subscribe on Twitch, of course, that gives you emotes and badges and immediate access to the VODs, which normally have to wait 24 hours for appearing on the YouTube. But speaking of YouTube, you can become a YouTube member, which gives you emotes and badges over there. Being a YouTube member, Twitch subscriber, Patreon supporter, or let you join the Discord where you can hang out with us and other fans of the shows and talk about all the things. And also, speaking of talking, we also love to see you talking in the chat and in the YouTube comments. We try and read them all because we want to hear from you and see what you're enjoying and all that kind of thing. And you say lots of cool things and occasionally come up with some excellent theories about what's going on. And that's all the things. Tell your friends, press the buttons. I'm trying to do it quick today because it's a 3-hour show.
Okay, in which case, I guess there's going to be a weird recap for today because we're actually going to be starting off from the week before last week. Last week's episode is what happened in Perrin's head when he slept. So that will be when the party go to sleep, which is actually slightly in the future from today. So just to contextualize last week's gonna be inside of this episode. The correct viewing order, for those of you who keep track of such things, would be 2 episodes ago. Today, right up until Perrin goes to sleep. Then last week, then continue this week. Because, why not? So, I believe we left off 2 weeks ago, with you being teleported to, was it Vihir Ras?
Yeah, it was Vihir Ras.
Okay.
I think.
So
yeah, it was.
You suddenly appear, teleported to the destination of your choice, in this case being Vihir Ras. In the central plaza, you can kind of see the Church of the Raven Queen is one side of it, and there are people passing through. A few of them definitely turn their heads, like you literally got teleported into the middle of the town square, but it isn't hugely unusual. It is definitely a surprise, and a lot of people do kind of like take stock, a few of them take note. You aren't hugely famous in the Dead Cities, but you have a lot of influence. So not a lot of people are like, oh, that's Dragon Punch.
But word will get around, and you know, important people will know that like Dragon Punch.
Important people will know you're here. Yeah. So, what do you wish to do? It is getting a little bit on in the day, but you've got a few more hours before you have to kind of head down for the night. But you are exhausted. I believe everyone has a point of exhaustion.
Right. Yes. Probably first thing to do is just get away from immediate prying eyes, just not to make too much of a scene beyond what we already did. Like usher us in a direction, just down a street.
Like
we still
outside,
have our room, right?
You still have what?
Our room.
We are in
Our
the
room.
Drowned Tower in a completely different area, so I doubt we would have
Yeah, I think
hotel booked.
Oh, what? Let me check. We can find out easily. Calendar.
I don't think we would have paid for rooms for this week, knowing we were going to.
Yeah, because we weren't going to
but...
be here. Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's a new week, so you do not have rooms today. You would have left them last night, and that would have been it.
Yeah, it's been Moon's Day for a little bit. Okay.
So we have to
we're
go get
gonna
new rooms,
go-
but like we can go to like the same places we were at before or whatever. I'm sure there's spots available. Yeah,
Are you just trying to find somewhere private to talk?
Well, I was just trying to get us immediately out of the square and just, you know, heading in a direction so as not to be conspicuous. But then once we're like into crowds and just, you know, moving somewhere, Perrin's gonna just punch Skith in the arm, like not hard, but like enough to, you know, make an impression, not a physical impression, just, you know, be like, you. One day you're gonna get us killed. The amount of things that you say to powerful beings. This is pre-Perrin's conversations in his dreams.
Mm-hmm. I'm just scowling at future Perrin.
The hypocrisy.
It's like, I don't think he knows certain things, and we don't know what it takes to have them remember certain things.
I left out the important name.
It might not need the name. We don't know how this works.
Well, they seem to be friends, and you can't trust everybody, but you can also trust nobody, Perrin, if you know what I mean. You have to put your faith in something.
I know, and he's
That's
possibly one of the best options of to tell and have on our
very
side.
rational.
But we should at least discuss
Dragons
those
are
things
logical
before.
creatures.
We should at least discuss those things before we, start taunting him with the fact that we know he's a herald. And dropping
I
hints
wasn't
about...
taunting, I was merely trying to draw more pertinent information.
I mean, yes, I know it's...
You
Sometimes
tease
gotta...
a little bit, and you draw it out of them.
I know it's just,
Maybe
it's risky.
we should have talked about what we were going to tell him before we met up with him.
Though we didn't know we were going to meet up with him till we did, but still.
There's not always time to discuss everything. Sometimes you have to do it in the moment. And that was our one chance. Who knows when we'll be able to make direct contact again.
Well, now we know if we find ourselves information about a dragon orb, that'll be a good way to get ourselves a line. Anyway, retroactively, I think all the things you said were fine, but you still deserve that punch.
I tried to stop him too, but I was also curious.
I'm quite accustomed to you being rude.
Right, I could start
Respectfully.
I could start passing out at any time, so let's find a room.
All right.
Marina will look for a place that we can maybe stay or sit, get a drink.
Okay.
A room.
Just glad we're not wet anymore.
I'll deal with the cost you're going to be paying for the room and exactly what it will be when we know what you're doing for the week with your downtime or whatever. Because otherwise we have to retroactively, or you have to decide that now and interrupt. So you find rooms. There are adequate rooms and you have great connections. Do you want to be able to chat or be in a common area or something? Or would you like to just go straight to...
I think Perrin's wishing to get to bed, though actually, like, a little bit later, as we're, like, doing this, Perrin's gonna be like, and just taunting Slarkretel with his name? Feel like I didn't have enough chance to mention that one, but that's possibly more dangerous than anything else.
Are you saying that out loud, or you're just keeping that to yourself?
Like it's muttered away from people.
Hushed tones to you, yeah.
Okay. And don't worry about that, Perrin. That's sorcerer business. It's my job to find knowledge. And if I can get an audience with such a powerful creature by simply using its name and drawing it out by its curiosity, I think that's a risk worth taking.
After sort of thinking for a second, Perrin's like, right, I see why it was that one in particular you were interested in.
Right, we have common interests in magic.
Well,
I would assume.
I think if you want an audience, the best thing to do is another drowned tower run and earn a boon. I don't know if summoning them without having done any great feats in the tower will go down well with any herald.
And also, us perhaps knowing its name seems unusual, but of its existence, clearly we have earned boons, and perhaps they can see that when we enter the tower with them. So that doesn't seem abnormal, that we would at least know of their existence.
I think, in a pinch, we could blag away the fact that we know the names. Seeing as certain beings like Bahamut and Tiamat, they're household names, but I don't think Slarkretel's a household name.
That's why I was trying to pique its interest. And plus, the name's Slarkretel. Would I think that sounds like a Dragonborn name? Because it out of character, it kind of sounds like that to me, but I'm not certain.
Maybe. It's possible.
When I was thinking, like, when I was doing my history checking, I ended up thinking that it was some kind of, like, sea monster demon type thing, right? That then seemingly ended up in the service of...
Yeah, I believe you made some sort of history check or something.
I remember it being described as like some kind of creature that sank ships or something.
Well, I could do living lore too, as well. For the name.
Add it to the legend lore list.
It's a pretty short list right now, I think. We haven't used it in a while. Well, yeah, he'll just mention that he thought the name might originate or, be more of like a native kind of name.
It could be that it's some sort of sea dragon. It's possible. Doesn't just have to be 2 dragons that are heralds.
Regardless, I'm not looking forward to going back to that place, and I'm not sure if we'll have time at the moment either.
Yeah, we'll probably have to save more Drowned Tower trips for another time. Just whenever we do, make sure to warn me. When I'm in marking ceremonies, I can change around some of my abilities to be more suited to water. I haven't done this time because I expected we'd be moving on, but if we ever plan on going back there, I'd like to know 1 tower run beforehand. And then we can take the thing by storm. He says before being like, I should not taunt I should not taunt Umberly that way, even on land.
Satarina won't be able to use her shrimp pistol again anytime soon. Hopefully, if we're not swimming.
Well, it still works on
and
land.
And again...
Oh, you're muted.
We have...
I can still use it even if I'm not in the water.
All right.
It's just extra useful in water. It still seems like a decent weapon outside of water.
You think we'll probably want to sell injury insufficient, though.
Wow.
But I've had it for so long.
I know, that's a big thing, big change.
There's always the teleportation cube location.
Yes.
We still need to go down there.
I think we've had some experience in water now, at least, so we can know what to expect.
The water in there's a whole other beast. The pressure alone sounded like it was enough to kill you, regardless of water breathing.
Well, we do have the pressure caps.
Yeah, yes. That's why I made those.
That's true. I just worry about relying on those alone. Like in the tower, we always had contingencies, multiple layers of things protecting our ability to water breathe. As it turned out, maybe not enough layers. Barry glances over at Arena, attempts to forget the things he's just remembered. I'd like to have some sort of backup plan if the pressure capsules are broken.
What if Arena made some sort of barrel with windows that kept the pressure out that we could teleport with us and then look through?
I've seen those.
Oh, like the bell that got us into the Drowned Tower.
Yeah.
Yes.
I've never made one before. I don't know if it's something like that I can do. And we need...
And she starts like thinking of all the equipment that she would need to make that possible. Would I know how much that would cost?
So what exactly do you want to make?
I think he wants to make a submarine.
I can't remember what they're called. Yeah, they're like barrel. What are they called? They have a weird. The item name is weird. It's called somethings.
I was thinking just like a room, but yeah, like a big barrel that we could all kind of squeeze into, and
it would be very rare at the minimum, especially given the what you are aware of the pressure at that depth. Maybe you'd be looking at a lot. Like things that are very rare are 5 digits, so you're looking 15,000 gold or something.
I feel like we just grab Arena and we just throw her into Rendry's lab and just yell, "Make a submarine!" and then we shut the door and come back in like 6 months. And by the time we're back, we'll have a magic teleporting submarine.
Be like Corvid Bot, but just his head on like a giant like creation.
His wings are
like the apparatus of
the propeller.
Qual or whatever, those things. Yeah, here, I'll share it in our chat. One of these type of thingies.
Like a diving
but like bigger.
tank
This I
kind
think
of
this
thing.
can only fit 2 medium people though. Yeah, 2 medium people.
Apparatus of quality.
So it need to be bigger to be able to fit.
Yeah.
A third person.
That
Yeah, I was like, it has a weird name, but I
this,
couldn't remember
but yeah.
what it was.
It's a submarine.
But yeah, it is basically a submarine.
You're only 3 months away from getting, at the earliest. I think 3 months. Let me check. You're on Wild Leap.
Yeah.
The item we acquisitioned, or
You're 2 months away from getting the item you acquisitioned.
can we afford it though? I remember it being like some ridiculous amount of
Oh
money.
yeah, because
and
it's
we,
very
like,
rare. Again, it's going to be a lot.
had it like on layaway, like
Yeah.
It's on credit. Which creature did we use for that again?
Saravel's duplicate.
Right.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's weird.
Yep.
Weird item out of my brother's magic
Yep.
clone thing.
That thing's expensive though, so we need money for that. We need to have the money ready, otherwise he's not going to give us that item.
Damn it,
Let's hope we
adventuring
don't
is so expensive.
love our rolls. Yeah, and I have another attunement slot, so I don't even have anything I want to dump right now. I'm probably just going to use my Amulet of Evocation again. Since I gave Pietro the bands and he had them all customized, and I feel too bad taking them from him now. Like, yeah, give me your little shell, sweet custom shell armor.
I guess then to that response, Arena will be like, after she like mumbles off like a bunch of stuff that she would need for it, she's like,
That would be very expensive and take a long time, so maybe not the best use of our money and time.
Just stick to the pills then.
Maybe try to find a way to teleport out if we have an issue.
Yeah, an emergency
Just take
teleport
24
would be-
hours worth of pills.
In a pinch, some kind of emergency pocket dimension sort of deal would not go amiss. Something we could retreat into if something goes
Oh,
wrong.
I could banish 2 of us.
Would rope trick work for that?
Possibly. Just anything that creates a pocket dimension would theoretically be immune to pressure, depending on
What about
how
our tent?
things enter and exit it.
It would be flooded.
would it though? Read your description of your tent. I can't
How does the
remember what
tent
it
work?
said.
Maybe
I
it
don't
wouldn't.
think
I
there is a
believe
description.
if the fire in the end of the camping thing goes out, the tent actually does collapse because you light the thing and place it in the ground, and that's how the tent sprouts from it.
Yeah, it also says that if it takes like damage from the outside, that it
Yeah.
will collapse in on itself. So the pressure would be enough.
I'm gonna
to
paste the
do
rope
that, I would
trick in
imagine.
chat. Read it a little easier.
Yeah, I could twin cast a banish on 2 of us, but it would pop us out in random places in the world. So we might just end back out like underwater somewhere else.
Water can flow in. Attacks and spells can't cross the entrance.
And that's the only thing it says.
Non-attack
can't
or a
cross the
spell.
entrance, so water
Yeah.
would flood in. You need one where you need a pocket dimensional space that only your allies can enter and no other matter.
All right, Perrin. Well, what
You-
is your
you want-
solution?
I don't
You
have
want
one.
Tiny Hut.
Oh, tiny hut. Isn't that
Spoiler,
like a
I have cast Tiny
level
Hut on a riverbed
force
to
spell?
find somewhere away from assassins that was safe.
Yeah, I don't think I have tiny hut.
Because Tiny Hut says the insides are dry.
Ah,
Lehman's tiny hut. I think it's level 4's. Oh no, it's a
3.
level 3 spell.
And
I just
ritual.
don't have it.
wizards only, pretty much.
Bards
sadly.
and wizards, so I don't have access to it.
What's the fastest it can be cast?
Not that fast.
Okay,
What if
'cause
we have
that's
a
the thing is, like,
scroll?
You would need it on your spell list to cast it from scroll.
Because my worry is, like, if our magic items get yeeted for some reason, then we'll have probably a turn to save ourselves, or we implode. That's Perrin's fear. So it's like we gotta have something we can cast in a single action that gives us a space we can move into that means we don't get crushed by the weight of the ocean.
While you're debating this, time is ticking by. The sun is definitely kind of going down now. You're in that kind of twilight stage where the sun is actually below the horizon, but you still get a little bit of light. You can kind of see out the windows of the tavern. And crows and ravens circling around.
That's calming for Arena.
I should probably be heading to bed. The fact that I haven't been visited by any potential patrons yet is interesting. Perhaps they're being more polite this time around. What's the big difference between a level 6 warlock getting their first ever, or a level 6 who has become a warlock getting their first patron, or a level 12 who's, you know, made some impressions? Looks down at his chest, perhaps mainly bad ones with certain beings.
Yes, and here you are scolding me on things that I say.
For all the things I said to Arithis, I didn't say anything close to that topic.
That's true.
I just insulted her personally by accident.
Is it by accident if you said it and you meant it?
I didn't mean the exact words I said. I was trying to convey my thoughts. I didn't know I was going to be talking to her, so I had to, you know, think through things that I hadn't had time to think through, and she was a very different person than I expected her to be. So
Rena kind of looks up and looks back down and is like,
Well, I'm thankful that none of them tried to connect with you while we were walking, because carrying you does not sound like a fun thing to do.
I haven't had a chance to
I won't
summon
carry
Thunder
him.
yet.
Oh yeah, Thunder's not going to be happy with you.
I will, guess we'll see how that
Although he
resummoning
did want to
goes.
get summoned into battle, maybe not on a boat.
I'm hoping at some point I can just give him a straight fight. Nice and simple, open ground, lots of charging around and trampling. I feel like he deserves that.
That never seems to be our style.
I feel like it's happened a few times before. We've just been very unlucky since I started summoning Thunder.
That creature is going to have quite an aversion to water.
Maybe he conquered his fear.
By conquer, you mean consumed by it, perhaps?
I mean, maybe he has a fear of clowns now, as well as water.
Not the clowns that killed him.
It was. The water didn't help.
Well, before you take your nap, is there anything that we need? Something that I should work on? Other than a submarine, which I don't think I'm going to be able to do with the resources I have.
In case you can't remember, you were intending to go to the Unlit Vaults, I believe, with your next downtimes. But you also have some access in this year, not in this year, in the Inverline in the Sorton Quarter.
Need to get our finances in order and make some money.
This is like the 4th time I'm asking you this, but which library has which specialty again? I forget every time, I'm sorry. There's 3 libraries, and one of them's arcane and one of them's religion. Is it Unlit Vaults is history and Invalina's religion?
Yep.
It has a
Yes,
history is
okay.
on the vaults, yeah.
Yeah, this is a,
Well, I can go to the unlit vaults, but what would you all like me to look for?
we definitely shed we shed blood, sweat, and tears to get access to those damn vaults. So, I mean, I feel like now we know a lot more about the Dawn War than I thought we would. The Cataclysm might be the more important thing to know about, though at the same time it will probably be very difficult to find anything in there.
But I can at least try. What about the Cataclysm do we want to make sure we know about?
Well,
What actually
There's also
caused
information
it,
before.
to be
what caused
honest?
it?
Like, what was the triggering event? Because there's lots of speculation and there's lots of, vague ideas, and it kind of sounds like people killed Mistra, and we know it's more
So what
complicated than
really
that.
happened?
There was an inciting event, and I don't know if it killed Mistra or not. Maybe it did, but what was that event? Because I think that's something we can't find out even from our own sources and parent glances over at Skith.
What?
I think it was a deliberate act, whatever it was.
I have a feeling
Tharizdun
it
was
too.
probably trying to destroy everything. They had to stop him.
Careful even speaking the name, but I think you're on the
yeah,
right track.
Arena gives you that look too. Like, we just said his name so casually.
I think he was pulling strings to do something, and maybe even intentionally deal with Mistra. I don't know, though.
Can't we say his name if it's just the three of us? If no one else hears, it's fine. We already know
Don't
about
know
him.
if
It's
it's
not like
just-
we're
into this-
praying to him.
I mean, we already have one friend that likes to randomly show up in the same room as us while we're talking about, secret things. I won't say his name in case that summons him.
Probably gets an itch when someone's talking about him.
No, that doesn't sound pleasant.
The walls have ears. We have to assume so, because quite often they have.
Anything else you all want to know?
Do you want me to cast Detect Magic? See if someone's spying on us.
It's a good thing to just drop every now and then.
Okay. Print me Detect Magic if you wouldn't mind.
Oh, Lord.
Oh, God.
Oh,
I'm
no.
hoping he just is going to be
What?
describing all the items we're holding or something, but I'm worried.
Okay. Level 1 Divination. For the duration, you sense the presence of magic within 30 feet of you. If you sense magic in this way, you can use your action to feel a faint aura, to see a faint aura around any visible creature or object in the area that bears magic, and you learn its school of magic, if any. It can penetrate most barriers, but it is blocked by 1 foot of stone, 1 inch of common metal, a thin sheet of lead, or 3 feet of wood or dirt.
Okay. A riotous display of color covers each of you with a number of bits and bobs you have. There's nothing hugely of note around you. The lights here have like a subtle kind of magic on them, which is they are enchanted to be giving off kind of a glow. And the doormat has what is effectively a prestidigitation on it.
Looks like we're all right. I think I'm going to just try to make a scroll while you do your research.
I'm going to need to visit Rendry again.
That's what I mean to pay him back. I'll try to make a scroll of disintegrate to give back to him.
I need to visit him
Since
for other
we have
reasons.
more. Yes, since we have more knowledge about what it is he asked of us. Don't think we'll be able to accommodate his wants.
I'll defer to your judgment on that and whether or not it is okay for us to grab that bit of energy. If you don't believe it is, then we won't do it. We'll find another way. And we can ask Rendry about what options there may be. Maybe he has something. Or if he insists that it has to be...
the ring.
Yeah, if he insists that in order to learn about the ring, we have to get that, then we'll just take the ring back and we'll go elsewhere.
From his description, it didn't seem like some useful item, although the task he required to get it returned did not seem to align with that. If it were useless now, I don't see why he'd want to hold on to it.
I don't think it is useless. I mean, I don't think it performs its function anymore, but I don't know whether it could be restored. I care more about understanding how it works, where it came from, what it may have done, because I feel like it's important.
You know the name of the ring? Maybe I could look at that in the history vaults too.
Have we Legend Lord the ring? We should Legend Lord the ring.
It's better if I see it have it in person in front of me. But
get it back off Rendry, we can Legend Lore it, and then we can see what that gives us and go from there.
It didn't have like a name. I mean, if it's not legendary, then it won't do anything. But I think it was just called a signet ring, a broken signet ring, is what it was called in my inventory when I first got it.
It's like a family heirloom.
If we ever learned
came
another
from the
name
vault,
about it or not.
Or it was put on people every time they would go in from my family to come out as a wizard. Everybody would have one, and when they came out, they would be a wizard. Basically.
So there were multiples of these rings, not just one.
Or
did you all share the same ring?
I think it was just the one that then got passed down.
I think it got shared. Yeah. And then when I came out, it was broken, and I didn't remember what happened, and I was a sorcerer.
Would he never have identified it? Like with an identify spell?
I didn't have any up until then, I would assume, or I hadn't. And then I had gone to Rendry to actually get more info about it. It was one of my things to find out about the ring, and then to find out about the tower plans that I had on me still. And I had the other plans were stolen from me that for the key that I had, because I had plans to like make a key. And those got lifted, and then I had something else that got traded. Did I trade the key plans? One of them got stolen, one of them got traded.
You traded the key plans to the kingdom, the Lumarian Empire. No, the Kingdom of Near-Death.
It was
and the
that's not terrible.
Was stolen. Yeah.
Yeah, the Herald List was stolen and clearly ended up filtering into the hands of Skinface, and now we have it back, though it isn't. The list we have is one that was just literally a written copy of the actual original list, which I think Masha gained hold of, and don't know where it is now. Could have been lost with a lot of Masha's notes, or it could have been handed off somewhere else. I don't know whether the original would have any difference to the copy, if there's any magical gubbins going on with the original list. Probably not.
A couple of other things that I could look up are uses for the dragon orbs, what they have used them for in the past history, and also what's the other one?
There might be some insights within that about where dragon orbs have ended up, at least in semi-recent history.
Well, that's true too.
Told you're not supposed to use them because the moment you attune to them, you could be driven mad with power, and the dragon-esque aspects within them could have influence over your mind and actions.
Another thing you could look up is it might be useful if you can find some maps of Ursulane.
I was thinking that's what the other thing was. Maybe perhaps looking up the seals. Their
I don't know.
purposes.
You could try looking them up directly, just be very discreet about those avenues of research, because the existence of the seals itself seems to... I mean, it's part of the secret, the secret that, you know, everyone forgot. If there are books about that, they need to not be noticed by anybody that shouldn't be noticing them. If you can find out about them, that's useful information. That was why I was thinking of the map, though, is I want to look for locations of temples, and perhaps also cities in Ursulane before the Cataclysm, because that might be how it works, that they are built on temples. Or temples are built on them.
I can look and figure that out.
Theoretically, in order to find any of that information, you're going to have to look in sections that are pre-Cataclysm, because post-Cataclysm, no one knows those sources even exist to consult.
Well, they do have information before the Cataclysm, so I think most of what we're going to look for is going to be about that.
There will be limitations. I'm sure all the greatest libraries were still on Ursulane before then.
I have something else that I need to work on too. A little more time-centric, though. Has to do with my cup.
Is it time to try opening it and seeing what happens?
Well, whatever is in my cup, I need to transfer maybe to the core that I have.
That too. Rendry might be useful for that kind of a task.
Do we trust Rendry? I don't think I want to give him my cup.
That's true. Have we shown him the key before?
I don't think I've ever shown him the key.
I don't think so.
Okay.
I have not shown.
Probably
He
best
barely even showed me the key.
Probably best that he doesn't know that exists. Actually, yes. Never mind. While he would probably be useful at handling that process, I don't think it's. You're right. It's not worth the risk.
You've definitely told him, though, that you can get access to the top of the tower, so...
Yeah, I think we told him we can do it. We didn't say how.
Yeah, we didn't tell him how.
I think that was what it was, now I think about it.
But you've also talked to him, and he has knowledge about some key plans, because you've discussed key design plans with him, I think.
Skith did, because he had a thing, and that's how we met Skith, is we overheard him talking about a key, and then Perrin and I were like, because he was going through blueprints, and he was talking about it.
Yeah, but I wasn't even with the party then. Yeah,
you weren't with us.
That was the very first episode.
Yeah.
So there may not have been a connection because it was coincidental, really. I mean, in story that you had one.
All right. I'm gonna get to bed. I think though tomorrow, before you start trying to do that with the key, the cup, we should try looking in it while we still have that ability. I don't think there's anything in there, but there's a small chance something is.
You want to do that together, or should I do that?
I think we should do that as a team, just because who knows what could be going on with that.
We'll look in the hole together.
That's for E.
Called more of a box, really, I guess.
I know.
It's just space.
Doesn't
you
get
two
any
look at
better.
it. I'll back you up over here and watch.
If it was Bentham in this universe, he'd be like, we need to look in key space tomorrow, because that's the term I'm using for it, and I really like that term. But parents like...
I mean, I like that term as well.
The dimensional
We'll look inside the cup
thing.
tomorrow, and I'll pour it out, too.
Okay. Good use of code wording.
Arena smiles and is like really proud.
Right, presumably I've got some appointments.
I've got an appointment with food in my mouth.
And Arena's gonna go.
Well, wish me
Get
luck
some-
and good luck
get some
with your
food.
food.
I want pie.
Oh, a pie sounds good.
Fish pie.
I don't know about fish pie, but I'd try it.
Have you ever had it?
I don't think so. We don't really eat a lot of fish pie. I like mince pies.
As they're walking down the hallway,
Yeah, we're gonna go.
trailing off.
Skiff and Arena are gonna get
the
some
leaving
food.
parent's gonna be like, oh yeah, and if my room gets like struck by lightning in the night and I die, avenge me.
It was probably me.
That's
Also
fine.
true. So, you go, you fill your bellies with fish or cupcakes, and you go to sleep. If you're trying to do this chronologically, go watch the last episode now, then come back. You wake up, Perrin. It's like crack of dawn. You can see light just beginning to come over some of the buildings out the window.
Yeah, so I imagine that considering how it ended, it's, Perrin's like tossing and turning and all that kind of thing. I don't know if you can move while in that mode, but I feel like he is anyway. And then it's just like, oh,
Yeah.
oh.
And it feels like you've got like 100 different bugs just crawling up and down your left arm. Like it's that kind of weird prickling sensation, kind of moving sensation all over your skin.
So there's the panic, and then he begins to calm, and then there's more panic as he like quickly like scrambles and like pulls the covers off and looks at his arm.
The scars look like scars, but as you look at it, you can maybe make out like maybe they're kind of mouth-like they are lots of individual kind of that long bit of kind of puckering around them, like could look like lips from a weird angle.
He like gingerly pokes at one and tries to like pull it open.
Kind of gently, you can see kind of like little bits of kind of a whitish gray in the inside, a lot of little tiny little specks.
He found a way. Like looks at his arm and so they're just like turning his hand over and just kind of looking at these new developments and thinking. Right. And then he's gonna get up and head out, and he's gonna go knock on the others' doors.
Who do you go to first?
I think it's in order of the nearest door and then the next nearest door, like... Just, he's
I was
get him...
wondering though if Skith and Arena could have a conversation the night before.
Oh.
Okay.
Is
So
that still
as you
possible?
go
I know I didn't want to like stop you.
to
'cause I know you
knock
wanted-
on the door. Skith, just as you find the perfect shop that does fish pies, Arena kind of pulls on your cloak from behind. Now you're alone.
Yes.
Do you think it's a little weird? What's going on with Baron?
Nothing's right with that boy. I say boy, but he's older than me.
When we had all those marks on us, it didn't seem to affect him at all when he was vomiting all that water.
Oh, yes, clearly he can't drown.
But why?
Can I roll an intellect or something?
Roll a.
I don't. So what I'm thinking is I don't know exactly what's doing it, but that I think it has something to do with his arm.
Hmm.
Just based off of like observations, but I'm not. I know I'm not very perceptive, but I do know about his arm, so I feel like since I knew about it just from him, like telling us about his arm that I could.
I mean,
put
you could
two and
roll
two
an int, and I
together.
could give you some vague general stuff, but it would be kind of vague. He hasn't told you a huge amount of the arm because he doesn't know a huge amount about the arm.
Yeah,
So I could give you some.
I think it just has something to do with that, not. But I don't know if I would know that in character. I feel like I would have put two
Yeah,
and two
make an int
together,
check.
but
Make an int check.
okay. $17.
You definitely kind of, thinking back, remember Perrin breathing, stopping occasional conversation to kind of catch your breath when he's kind of excited or talking about something, sighing with exasperation at you and or Arena. And then that all stopped about the time that his arm got wrecked. And thinking about it, even when he'd like sigh these days, it's kind of this awkward pause rather than a sigh. You don't recall his chest like going up and down. Maybe that's why he's being slightly more stealthy.
You've probably started to see more that before speaking, Perrin breathes in. Like specifically, and it's become a pattern. I imagine that's how it would go, is like eventually after not breathing for a while, you'd get used to having empty lungs and then you'd have to fill them to speak and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I mean, you were puking water and you were fine the whole time.
That too, yes.
You weren't even like panicked. You're just like,
yeah, there was like a moment of
waving
panic,
to
and
save
then Perrin
Arena.
was just like, okay, I'm fine, let's focus on Arena.
Rena's had a couple moments
Yeah.
where she's noticed weird stuff with Perrin. And did we see him walking like
yeah, he was leaping off of things,
Yeah.
and neither of
Perrin's
us had
been on
spider
several
climbed
ceilings and
him.
walls
Oh
recently.
yeah, you've seen him just
Yeah.
having a
Yeah.
sword fight on a ceiling and stuff. Like, yeah.
Like with
Yeah.
the Corbin fight, he just teleported onto the ceiling and started fighting him there. Like it even
Yeah.
before the still behemoth, Skid saw Perrin jumping onto a ceiling, surprising even himself to fight the grabby spider boy.
I tried to ask him about it, but he kind of was like, we'll talk about it later.
Oh, that was an int save rather than int, but it is the
Oh,
same
they're
for
the
you.
same. They're the same, yeah. I saw that too, yeah. He has been acting rather odd, doing things out of what I know within his abilities. But
What do you
he's
think is
always
happening?
been very guarded. I don't know. You grew up with him.
Oh, a bit, but he's never been able to do any of those things before.
Sometimes I'm worried that he doesn't know exactly what direction he wants to go in.
Well, that's probably why he doesn't have a patron nor a deity.
I'm sure he'll figure it out. Maybe with his next choice, we'll be able to see what his true motives and standards, morals, guidelines that he likes to follow. He's never done anything evil, but he has skirted on morally gray options. The zombies arena.
I know, I still don't understand why he would. I think he did have a good intentions with Harker, but I don't know.
I mean, people make mistakes, but I don't like when he lectures me when my actions have caused no repercussions and his have had severe repercussions.
I wouldn't say no repercussions, but
What have I done? What have I said that has gone wrong?
it doesn't really matter. What matters is that
All right, no examples.
makes mistakes. We just have to learn from them. I know I've made plenty.
Do need to talk about what attire he wears in public. He needs to take off those creepy horse ornaments and bones when he's in civilized towns.
At the moment, there aren't any bits of rocking horse on him anymore, but he
He
is
used the
still
last
wearing
one. Yeah.
the armor
Yeah, no.
itself, and it's all.
He
black
hasn't
and
actually
spiky.
worn bones yet. He has worn a rocking horse, and that is gone now.
You didn't attach any fish or anything to yourself?
No,
Or,
I did not.
when we were-
He
okay.
should have. He
Having
regrets
time.
not doing it, but
Yeah.
He's weird armor, but he's always had different kind of armor every single time. So I figured that is just how it is.
I miss fireballing him. I wish he had his old armor.
I'm less worried about that and more worried about what's wrong with him. Like if he doesn't need to breathe and he's climbing on the walls, what does that mean?
Should we go seek him a physician to look him over? We could surprise him. Have another pair intervention 2.0.
Well, we might need one of those, but I suppose maybe a doctor is a good start.
And I think that's where we'll go in and eat some fish pie.
Savory.
Find parent
Okay.
a doctor.
for experience's sake, Perrin, as you knock on the door, it actually kind of opens, and you find Arena and Skith both obviously full, like bulging bellies, laying on the floor, surrounded by like a blanket, like they've made a little blanket fort, and there are a half dozen pie containers that are completely empty around them, little bits of crust around their faces.
Bert shuts the door and it is
I'll
like,
remove my point of exhaustion. Thank you.
You may all remove your points of exhaustion.
Ah, finally.
Yes.
Perrin's like,
Oh, what is it, Baron? It's too early.
just
It really
wake up the
hurts.
two of you. We need a team meeting.
Oh, here we
good.
go, Arena.
We thought we were going to have that team meeting with you, but all right.
Arena will get up, shake her belly.
And I guess like we'll set up at a table in the room.
Did anyone important show up?
Yes.
Well, do tell.
Is that a knock on our door?
I
Yeah.
think someone's at the door.
Arena will go to the door and open it.
Who is it?
There is a figure in kind of a dark traveling cloak, a little bit wet on the bottom, and they're, unlike Perrin, you can see there is kind of a little bit of a heave to their chest and their shoulders, like they've been exerting themselves recently. Message to be delivered, Dragon Punch.
Arena takes the letter.
It's
Alright,
a summons.
Thanks. Oh,
And they
Arena waves, goes back, shuts the door,
A
and quickly
summons?
opens it. What is it?
It is my aunt.
As per the contract you signed, you are hereby invited to discuss the terms of the deal I propose. You're bound to attend.
And as it unfurls, the letter just unfolds and unfolds and unfolds. Impossibly, like there is way more than a single sheet of paper somehow involved.
Ash.
how's
Until it becomes
unfolding so
kind
much?
of a rectangle about 7 foot high by about 4.5 foot wide. And then it burns from the middle out, kind of singeing, because, you know, paper doesn't really kick off and burn particularly well, but it does smolder very quickly. And from the inside out, and as it drops away, there is just a door frame, and you can just see kind of a red haze.
What terms is the scroll mean?
It
Also,
was part of an
is this
agreement
the
we
deal
had to
that you
help
all made?
rescuing you, yes. And in the end, it was critical in actually succeeding in rescuing you and other things. So it's an agreement we have to honor. I may have put us on slightly thin ice with Asmodeus.
Asmodeus came to visit you? What did you do now?
I was gonna tell you about it, but apparently the meeting's happening now. That may be my fault. Just tread
Yesterday,
lightly.
Is there
you were
anything
just
you
telling
per-
Skit to watch his mouth.
Well,
Marina
I'm
will
saying
walk
it's
in.
very important to watch our mouths right now because I pushed my luck.
Marina will go in. Oh gosh.
The
Okay.
agreement is just to listen. That's all we gotta do. We gotta
Marina,
listen to the offer.
there's a flare of kind of fire as she steps through. She disappears. You see kind of a black kind of shape haze. But beyond that, Marina's gone.
I will follow.
Okay.
I'm gonna grab some leftover pie and follow.
Okay.
Keep my mouth busy by eating breakfast.
Oh, I thought you were gonna bring him some pie.
We bring you this offering
No.
of a half-eaten fish pie.
Fair enough. Ooh, what would be good music here? Let's go with that. So, as you step through, you step out into a kind of long hall, at the end of which a huge metal throne shaped with faces and intricate kind of scroll work.
The same room I was in a few hours ago.
It is very similar, if not the same room. And a figure about 8 foot tall, red skin, horns, gleaming kind of intelligent pointed eyes, holding a book, just looking through it.
Ah, Dragon Punch. Welcome. So, do you wish to sit?
I'm alright with standing.
I'll sit.
Marina looks at what he's sitting on and nopes. Big nopes.
He's actually standing in front of it. Probably
Oh, he's standing-
about 2
well,
meters or
whatever.
so in front of it.
The chair that is there, nopes.
He gestures. And a few seconds later, about 8, 9 imps come in, flapping their wings as they're all carrying between them this kind of big armchair. Kind of plush cushions, kind of a rich red fabric with a little bit of gold brocade around the edge. And it clatters to the side.
Careful. We can go now.
Ah, lovely.
And
That's
anything for you,
service
Karen?
with a smile.
I suppose I'll take a chair.
Of course.
This time about 5 imps come in. And between them, they're carrying a very much more basic. It's a wooden chair with 2 plank kind of cross piece on the back, 4 legs, flat wooden base, and it clink, clink, clink.
Yours is so small, Baron.
Hearn sits on the chair.
You wouldn't believe. We had a very interesting night, didn't we, Baron?
We did.
So, I'm glad to see you got Arena back. Safe and sound?
Yes, your help was invaluable.
How's Killian?
Killian is doing quite well. Thank you. I currently have them doing certain tasks for me. I was a bit surprised that they came back quite so quickly. I was concerned you might not make it out of your predicament. But you persevered, as you tend to. Quite impressive.
We had to kill so many dwarves.
Really? Did they pose much of a challenge for you?
No, we killed about 99% of them, so not too much.
Always remember you have to end the lineage. Otherwise that 1% can be a bugger. It's a joke, Arena.
Arena's a little concerned because she doesn't remember killing that many dwarves. So she's like, "What did the two of you do?" when
No,
I was
we were part of that.
We
We
were
were all doing
mind
it.
controlled.
Yeah, when we were
Oh,
mind
okay.
controlled,
Remember-
we slaughtered all of them.
We except for like
Even
one.
the younglings?
Yep, even the youngling dwarves.
Oh
Okay.
yeah, that's right. When
Oh yeah, we got
got
mind
mind
controlled.
but you were like talking to him like you're excited about it. That's why Arena's looking weird.
I said it because I felt bad about it. Actually,
Okay. That's not how that conversation came across out of character.
that exactly. That was also intended.
Well, how are you finding your recent escapades? Now you're, from what I understand, level 12. You haven't had a lot of experience with using any of your new abilities yet, but you have been putting your newfound appetite to good use, I understand. There is a fish shortage now in the Hero Pass, from what I hear.
It's just eating.
Well, the price has definitely gone up now. That was, from what I understand, the last fish. What a shame. Really, no small talk?
I didn't know you liked fish, or I would have brought some.
There we go. Civilized society, man. Can respect that.
I'm just waiting to hear what Perrin's done.
I wasn't
I
with them,
usually
I was
just-
here.
Try not to do much of the talking.
What has he not done? He's got rather around. He was a busy boy last night. And Arena shows awfully good insight.
We're here to honor the agreement. As we
Fine.
usually I would I guess have things to say, but we did just speak. I felt like we achieved a lot.
I was expecting more of you. There are only certain things we could discuss or talk about, or banter or trade or bargain for last night. And now you have the opportunity to talk to one such as I properly. And now you're coy?
Are you saying
call
you're
it last
going to
night.
answer our questions? Because that's a different story.
I'm also
I'll entertain you.
I'm also aware of the fact that in that particular setting, it wasn't possible for anyone to smite me.
Why'd I want to smite you?
Well, I haven't given you a reason yet, I hope.
Unlike Erithus.
Don't like your logic, Baron. You clearly knew we were coming here shortly. But just because you weren't here in person doesn't give you leeway to say whatever you feel at the time.
He's got a point. I'll tell you what, Skith. Your boy here, he didn't just turn down Erithus once. No. He turned down the God of Vengeance twice. Bravery or stupidity? Or maybe both. Always makes the most interesting combination.
You think I should have taken the deal?
Of course no. Had an offer from me. You obviously should have accepted that one.
We aren't sure what he's done or who he's talked to. This was the first thing we awoke to, basically.
I know that Erithus spoke to your companion. I know a few others as well.
Did you have a meeting or something about it?
Something like that. We had a bit of a nighttime visit.
Who I spoke to was not up to me.
It was an interesting bidding war, put it that way.
I appreciate that everyone waited till I was asleep this time.
The bidding war took a while.
I'll consider that a compliment.
And here was I making sure that Erithus could give you at least a second shot. Shame.
Why would that be a shame?
I hate it when families fall out. Get a chance to patch up an old relationship.
I feel there was a somewhat mutual element to our initial distancing. I don't know that we can really just pick up where we left off after so little time.
True. Maybe feelings are a bit raw. Perhaps couples counseling.
I suppose it's
But
a
if you
compliment
give
for you to
Perrin an-
frame it that way. You're taking an
But if you
awful
give-
lot of interest in how I connect to Erithus in particular.
I have my own interests in Dragon Punch. Why do you think I'm so invested in making sure that one gnome survives? That I send across a particularly valuable idiot to go help you.
One that got to hitch a ride into Still Behemoth.
Of course. Okay then. A little bit smarter than you look.
And if you offered the Perrin an opportunity, then why would you want him to patch things up with Erithus? Doesn't make any sense.
It makes plenty of sense. I said I got him and opportunity. I didn't say I want him to take it.
And what did you want me to do? Or see?
Well, that is the question, isn't it? Like you said, brass tacks. Shortly we're going to the sheer satrapy from what I understand.
That's the plan?
Maybe.
So coy. Yes, it is the plan. Several people's plan. Including yours, don't worry, I know that. And you happen to have connections.
At this point, he looks directly at Skith.
And you don't like your brother much.
This point, that's irrelevant. It's what he's doing that needs to be addressed.
You have changed. Very well. Put it this way. I have my own interests in your brother. And they aren't aligned with his well-being. Or at least not notionally. Maybe I don't have quite as much of a stick up my ass about him as you do.
What are you, his patron or something?
Ah. Well, you caught the answer from the wrong direction. I want to know who his backer is. And that's where you come in.
I think we all want to know that.
Perfect. I want to know who is providing him the power, the leverage, the access, the know-how to be quite so successful. He might be more wise than Skith, but Saravel was never quite as persuasive, and yet, somehow, he's managed to encapsulate everything that section of the Asir satrapy looks for in a leader. And he is carving out his own niche. He's politically unassailable. Certainly for the likes of you for now. But that might change. And so since you are going there, and as a very perceptive arena notes, and you would find his backer, I too would like to know who his backer is.
Have they done something to affect you negatively? Or are you simply interested in the process they're using to get where they want?
They're affecting the fish price, let's say. And I'm very concerned about the price of fish, especially in these days of uncertain ocean climates. We may shortly need all the fish we can get.
Do you have any leads? A short list? Who might be behind the scenes?
I'm going to let you run with that one, because I have my own theories and suspicions. But I don't want you finding evidence by looking too hard where there isn't any and maybe misconstruing something. And also, I'm interested to see if you can Plus, there are certain things I can't say. And I find it interesting if you can find them out and then tell me.
I have my suspicions, but the fact that you're uncertain makes me uncertain.
I never said I was uncertain. What I want from you is proof.
Now I understand what you're
Right.
asking.
I'm more curious why you can't say what you're thinking.
Can't or won't, one way or the other, makes no difference to you. What makes a difference is that I'm offering this. Find out who or what they are, and give me proof. And I do not mean a mere associate, a slight backer. I mean someone powerful. If you do that, what would take your fancy? I can offer many different things. I hear you have money problems. Money is certainly something I could help with. Alternatively, if you want fame, I have some strings I can pull.
Aren't we already doing this because we owe you something or some kind of terms? I don't want to owe you more things.
Yeah, just listening.
No.
That's all we've agreed to.
Listening and, as the term said, if you do choose to not go with the offer, to have the terms of this meeting wiped from your mind, the terms and exactly what was said of this meeting only. Don't worry, I can see you frowning already. I was quite generous with the offer because I knew that while Skith might jump at the opportunity, Perrin was very frowny faced.
That's just how he usually looks.
It's my thinking face.
Good point. Well, I could also offer power.
That might get Perrin's attention.
There are certain doors I can unlock. Especially with some of the connections I have in places. The Ashes Satrapy, of course, being one of them. But there are a few others. I could also, considering how reliable you seem to have been, maybe find my way to looking to see if I have something particular value and of note and power. Maybe something that would fit for someone who had a spare attunement slot. Or, of course, I don't know why anyone would be interested, but I could give you some knowledge that an incredibly powerful ancient being might have about certain events.
Do you know anything about the Hellspire?
Oh, darling, I built the damn thing. Of course I know about the Hellspire.
Do you know what's going on with it currently?
That is a very interesting question. I know certain
I thought
things.
so.
And kind of looks
Perhaps if
curiously
you
at Skith
shared-
with this, and like he's like, "What's this about? I'm interested."
Perhaps if you shared any information about the Hellspire, then that would be a very persuasive addendum to any deal that we might strike.
I could give you some information. What would you want? It's knowledge you
Well.
wish. Of course.
This would be beforehand knowledge. It wouldn't be in
No.
a reward for completing the task.
Not going to happen. Because I already know that while you might consider it, Aaron and Arena are both prejudiced against my kind, even though we have to fulfill an important role in the cosmos. So I would rather give you no reason to cut and break the terms of a contract.
I am very open-minded, and I do remember that we probably wouldn't have been able to save Arena without your assistance.
That was very judgmental of you to assume.
Yes, the judgment reached upon the evidence that's been laid before me.
I'm not
Maybe
sure
you
what
didn't
Perrin has
analyze
told
your
you, but...
evidence.
What, Arena?
Maybe you didn't analyze your evidence properly.
That's right, I'm not sure what Perrin has told you, but we both can think for ourselves.
Exactly.
A contract
Yes.
is a contract. We make an agreement, we tend to stick to it.
Yes, unless the person backing Saravel is Arena's mother or something. That is joke.
And what if it's...
But it wouldn't be Arena's mother, clearly.
But what if it was?
That would be
You
the only
agreed to
reason we
take
have to
this.
break a contract.
The terms of breaking a contract with me are very bad for you.
Oh, I know, I understand. I'm just saying, hypothetically, Arena wouldn't do it if she found out it was her mother.
But in such a
And then-
situation, it would turn out that her mother was actually some evil being completely different from the one she'd known growing up.
Now we're just getting into a hypothetical mumbo-jumbo.
And also, you're making assumptions about what I would do.
You would let her damn her soul by not fulfilling the terms of the contract?
I'm not getting my soul damned.
So you would complete the contract for the party. You would tell me. You would save your friend.
You're not making this seem very appealing.
True. But I wanted to see where you're at. Very well. Let's make it more appealing.
Load of imps come in carrying the largest fish pie you have ever seen. It's about 4 foot across. And it's got
Oh,
a
that's
little
wild. That's
pastry
amazing.
Perrin kind of from like sternum up, cut into the crust.
I thought you said you were out of fish.
Turns out I found some more. So, consider this the deal sweetener. If you wish, I can offer you a vast array of different options. Whether you need the money that you were discussing, whether you need a particular magical item, or whether you need knowledge. Or fame, popularity, power, political power.
Could we not decide on the reward after?
Makes writing a contract more difficult, I presume.
Yes, exactly. You could decide on it after, but then it'd be down to my discretion about what was too much. I'm not exactly going to write you a blank check.
Well, no, you just go one of these options, and then you list all 5 of them.
I value
If you are
knowledge
okay with
first.
using my discretion.
Knowledge And then tools that you can use to acquire knowledge, like powerful items.
If you wish, I can, and quite happy to do as Arena suggested. Make it open-ended. You'd have to
Not
trust in me to use
open-ended.
my
You just list
discretion.
every option. Specifically.
Oh, you wish me to
Which one?
quantify each? Huh. Interesting. Okay. I can do that. It does require you to provide solid proof about a backer who is particularly powerful and has to meet my threshold. It can't be, oh, he happens to be backed by his favorite barman at the local inn. I have a
But what if he
name I'm
is?
thinking of. Well, good for the innkeeper.
If
I have a
I
name I'm thinking of already.
If I may, what do you need the proof for?
My own purposes.
If we were to bring, just hypothetically, Saravel's head, would that work? Then you could just speak dead with him.
An interesting thought. No. For a few reasons. But points for lateral thinking.
You need more than speaking with dead, I imagine. There are probably ways, but there's also more reliable ways that perhaps don't require killing him.
Perhaps.
It's going
If
to
you
be
agree.
hard to get proof without capturing some living person, or I'm uncertain.
The evidence would have to be good. I will make sure the name is codified in the contract of the person who I wish you to identify. But it will be unreadable until such time as you provide the evidence. Because I know you might be concerned about needing proof that I will provide my end of your bargain. And I can do as Irene suggests. I can give you options that you may choose when you provide me the evidence.
I think that works, right? Between the others.
I think we need to define what the evidence must be. Because if it's not sufficient enough for you, then you might not give us the reward.
Yes, we don't want to break the contract. For example, if we have an inkling of an idea, and we believe we know who it is, do we still have to share that with you, or will we be breaking contract by not having 100% proof?
You wouldn't be big
by
in
not-
the contract, you'd just merely not be... Let's just say you wouldn't be finalizing your end. The only penalty would be if you double-cross me on this.
Considering
fail,
the greater
unfortunate.
implications of us choosing that path, I don't think we intend to or even really can.
Smart and wise. You surprise me.
How much time do we have to make this decision and sign the contract?
I was hoping at least to be able to get it done one way or the other now. You can have an hour, but quite frankly, you could have until you go to the Centropy. After that point, no.
Marina will just look at the other two and be like,
Perhaps this is something we shouldn't be talk about.
In private, where I can't listen in.
No offense.
Taken. but also respected. Of course, it would be the wisest of you to suggest that. You do get a lot of brain in that tiny head. It's a marvelous feat of biology from Shalun.
Sometimes I think too much.
Yes, your mother always did say that. Take after your grandmother, indeed. So, fine. Do you not want me to codify how much money, how much fame, or do you just want to go away and discuss the mere concept?
Having some defined figures wouldn't go amiss.
How much do you need? What is your current concern in terms of money? You have an inn, part of one. You have an item being worked on, which, from what I understand, is going to be quite costly. You have way more powerful enemies than you can afford.
That is the problem.
It's one of the benefits of knowing that you will never double-cross me. You cannot afford me.
Suppose
I can afford
starting
you.
with the item might be a
Yes.
good place.
Very well. What would you be
Very
looking for?
expensive.
How much is it
If I
going
was
to
to offer
cost?
you
Look to Arena.
The directions to everything were build something cool with it, whatever you think fit. It's going to be a very rare item. That's
Isn't this the time one?
yeah.
Yes.
You have
Yeah.
no idea of the cost because the directions were build something cool. It was going to be 5 figures easily because it is it is so far make Perrin faster.
Yeah, we didn't have enough money to cover it. I remember at the time.
Yeah.
I don't think we've ever had enough money to cover that.
Arathane was happy to kind of begin work and actually do it on the basis of he would enjoy working on it, and he massively cut his commission. So you're probably looking somewhere in the region of, without valuing it yet, between 12 and 24,000.
Oh boy. Yeah, we have a cost coming up that's in the tens of thousands.
It was the Chrono Watch.
I don't know if that's how much you value this proof.
If the proof is good enough. Maybe, but you're asking for very good quality proof. I wasn't quite imagining it to be that ironclad. We can go that high if you wish.
Because I'm not exactly sure what form this proof will take.
I do have one or two questions for my companions before we do draw up the official contract. Privately.
Okay, The door goes both ways now. Feel free to step out into your side and come back in a moment. I won't wait long.
Do we need to make a contract that says you won't eavesdrop on us? Since you're very all about contracts and agreements and upholding your end.
I think that side
What
of
do you
the
offer
door
me?
puts us in a space where that's not possible.
You think, Baron, but
I think, yes. So, grains of
I
salt.
don't
Future has been known.
Irina says as she's thinking about all the things he just said about her mother.
all
Your
right
mother
then.
was very impressive.
I agree.
Disappointed I didn't get her soul in the end.
Got time yet?
Interesting response. Very well.
I'm just saying, don't give up hope, old friend.
We could make that your knowledge. I could tell you all about your mother, your grandmother, your grandfather.
I think there's other things that we need to know about.
How selfless. Fine. Take your time. I won't be at all unimpressed, disappointed if you run out the clock.
Suppose we head to the door.
Irina will go quickly. Let's out of here.
All right, so you two.
So we're
Very
back in
back in your inn.
uncomfortable.
Oh, we're
I
in the
don't want to
inn.
do
Is the
this
door
deal.
still there?
Yep.
Okay.
Nope, 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 nope. Big nopes from me.
I think if we try and imagine what could be backing him that we wouldn't want to share, there's only one name that comes to mind, and it's the one we're not allowed to say. But if it's not them, then our goals should align. Clearly, we don't want whoever's backing Saravel to be able to help. I just don't know if it's worth spreading that name around to such a high figure. Person of renown.
So I didn't
Could
get a
spread
chance.
quickly from there.
I didn't get a chance to say it, but from my meeting with him last night, I'm pretty sure he knows. And
Oh, then no problem.
he seems pretty sure we know, but that just makes me more confused. What does he need proof for? If he knows who it is and we know who it is and we both know the other knows who it is, what's the proof? Why is there this whole... Why do we need a contract to get some kind
Well,
of...
it's still may yet be someone we don't expect. Could be Tiamat as well.
Or maybe it's a trick, because if we can't fulfill the contract, then he gets something else in return.
Is
Like our
Tiamat-
souls.
Is Tiamat female?
It's his
Generally.
sister. Yeah.
Yeah, it's the sister of
Then
Platinum
it-
Dragon.
Then it isn't Tiamat. Maybe he thinks it is, but it isn't, because Ash's note said he. We didn't know who the he was, but we knew it was a he that had Saravel wrapped around their finger.
Mm.
I think we
How
know
many-
who he might be.
Yeah, how many other he's could it be? Now,
All right.
Asmodeus might not necessarily know that particular tidbit. That might be one thing that we do have. The closest thing we have to any form of proof, and it's still incredibly vague. It wouldn't be enough, I'm sure, for the contract. But I just don't get what the proof is needed for. I didn't have a chance to tell you yet, but it turns out it is not hard to break the spell. If you intend to break that spell over at least a herald, then you absolutely can, and we have once accidentally already. Maybe it's harder for gods, I'm not sure, but I don't think it is, which means that if he wants gods to know, he can just say it. So the only thing I can guess right now is that the proof gives him some kind of power that we don't understand yet, or that perhaps he can't speak the name for some reason. Like it's impossible for him to actually state the name until we provide something that he can then use. So maybe he wants to tell gods, but he can't for some reason, and we're giving him that power. Or maybe we're giving him some kind of power over the being, in which case that seems like a good thing generally, but then maybe it's not because it's Asmodeus.
When has he ever done anything that's good? I don't think this is a good idea.
You
I
saved
don't
your
think we should be
life.
making a deal. But he saved my life, but for what reason?
He wanted to get inside the still behemoth for one.
Exactly. He had other motives. You have to think that way. There's no reason why he would want to save a little tiny gnome.
Strange thing to me is that I feel like he's already got Erithis on the end of a string. Why did he even need someone to get inside the behemoth? Maybe I'm overestimating what he's achieved.
So you think
So
he's
both
working
of you
with
don't
Erithis?
want to do it then.
I'd
I
like to
don't.
remember this conversation that we had with him. We will forget if we don't agree.
I would like to remember it too, but I don't remember the space that we are in. But I don't want to remember it that badly.
Just write it down on a piece of paper real quick and leave it here. Then we'll go back in and tell him no and come back out and read the paper.
That sounds like a good way to get smote. Though judging from my conversation I had with him yesterday, he's pulled a similar trick to a similar spell, so maybe he'd give some leeway.
Rena will go grab a piece of paper then.
I'm not saying actually do it, I'm just saying maybe we could, and maybe he wouldn't kill us for it, but he might kill us for it.
Only if he's spying, which is why I wanted a contract.
Maybe he doesn't
Well,
need to
he's-
spy, maybe the contract knows what we've done.
He certainly knows things that he shouldn't.
That much is definitely true. But we all do.
Well, have no problem telling him.
Arena, you got to pick up a piece
Who
of
we
paper
find?
from the stack you've got on the sideboard, and it won't come off the stack of paper.
He knows.
Perrin tries to touch
Meaning-
the table.
Yeah, you touch the table.
Okay, we are here.
Well, I'm fine with it, but it's 2 versus 1. If you don't agree, you're the tiebreaker, Perrin. As usual.
I'm scared about why he needs the proof and what he might do with it. But
Hopefully get rid of our mutual enemy.
I doubt that.
I am inclined to believe that it is our mutual enemy. But I don't know, and that's the problem. He's indicated to me that we're fighting on the same side. To which I responded that, by his very nature, I cannot know if he's telling the truth. I'm simply not good enough. Everything he said could have been a lie, and we'd never know. That's the problem.
I don't think he's ever going to be aligned with anything that we want to do unless it benefits him.
Yes, any allegiances we ever have with him are
Question, EE.
convenience.
Has there ever been a circumstance where Asmodeus, in religious or in historical relevancy, has ever done something selfish, like selflessly for other people? Or has he always had a motive? I feel like
religion check.
Okay. I just rolled bad.
I mean, it's a really easy check.
No.
Not that you're aware of. Like, a lot of the stuff about Asmodeus is that, he is a great game player. Everything is like 12D chess. Like, if a piece moves, it might be getting, the benefit of it is moving where it needs to go, and that is something. But also, it is opening up an avenue of attack for something else. It is freeing up space for this. Like, it is producing multiple other effects. He is one of the kind of the masters of this kind of art of game playing. Is that like everything will have multiple benefits, and ideally, even if that move doesn't make out, he would still have a way to profit from it. Obviously, there is normally one thing that he would prefer, but so.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I was going off that, but I'm like, maybe there's a role here that I'm trying to lean towards.
I mean, if you got like a 30, I'd be like, maybe this one time by accident he had, there was this bleeding heart. No, 15, you know of no thing, especially because of the kind of popular conception of Asmodeus as being, he is evil. It's just not selfless, but that's also partly not his nature, that everything is reciprocal. And sometimes that can be fine.
Yeah.
And sometimes it can't be.
So Arena doubled down on what she said, which was what she said to Perrin, which was that he is not going to do something that's not going to benefit him.
But what about the Dawn War? He was on the side of the gods in that, right?
Do we know that for sure?
Do we know that for sure?
Do you know that for sure?
Should I make a religion check?
You would only know it from things you've learned, but you could maybe make a religion check for stuff that you might know as a character and background and stuff. Sure. Any facts that you've learned in the course of play, though, you can only confirm that.
I want to know, like, did the Dark Pact definitely fight in the Dawn War for the side
Okay, make a religion check.
When we saw the betrayal of the gods, we saw them gearing up, but not really prepared. And Asmodeus was there.
Oh, 24.
So the Dark Pact and stuff, that is much more kind of last few thousand years at most of history. And that's kind of a split politically there. As far as you're aware, Asmodeus is and has always been the head of kind of, the evil type of gods. With a 24, there are like rumors that really, really early on in history, whether he was subordinate to someone and he overthrew them or betrayed them or something like that. But that is kind of like, back history hearsay type stuff. Especially the part of being subordinate to someone. But there are the rumors of treachery and betrayal early on.
The impression I've got is that all the gods we know today ultimately chose the side of the gods in the Dawn War. That does, however, include Nerul, and I don't really know how trustworthy Nerul was in the end. Clearly, certain people didn't believe he was.
Well,
it seemed like he defected.
Tried to take him down for a reason.
My worry is that certain gods might see the current situation and see an opportunity to switch sides, perhaps to a side they used to serve. But I still don't understand why the proof is so important, what it means. The best that I can guess is that he can't speak the name for reasons that we don't know. Possibly remaining effects of the spell. Perrin glances over to Skith. That's the best I can guess. Otherwise, I don't know why he would need proof, because I don't think it takes proof to make a god remember.
Maybe
I
it's
don't
not.
see us having much to lose.
Maybe they made it so the gods didn't even know. They wiped it from their own memories.
They did, we know that, but he remembers. But how much? Maybe he doesn't remember the name. And he's acting like he does, but maybe that's what he needs. That's why the proof matters. Or perhaps proof was presented to him that made him remember. I was going to tell you all about the conversations I had. There's so much to go through. Basically, the indication he gave to me was that either he had a contingency that he put in place before the spell was cast so that he would be reminded afterwards, or he ended up happening to remember later because he was informed by an object or a being who did remember, possibly as a deliberate contingency. It wasn't clear, and I didn't want to pry.
See, he cheats the system. You're just proving me more right. This is just not a good idea.
I know. It seems like... Well, we don't know if it was intentional. It may have been that some other being informed him because something went wrong, like when Mistra died. That might have been a trigger for something to activate and for him to remember at that stage. But why would he be the one trusted with that? Maybe it was that it had to be both sides of the spectrum for gods. Maybe there was one person appointed on each end. I don't know, but either way, he knows now. How much he knows, I don't know, but he knows, and that's why he's asking us to go on this mission.
So what if I take the deal and then you two can just stay out of it?
I don't think
he's going to go for that.
That's a best of both worlds situation.
But then all the risk falls upon me, and it's just my soul that's at risk.
But then you have the knowledge of the meeting and you can inform us on that, or you're forbidden from doing so, which is its own problem.
Oh, right. You two would forget. But if I was doing it, maybe you wouldn't forget. If as long as some party agreed to it.
We have no idea why you were doing what you were doing. You wouldn't be able to explain it to us. And ultimately, he'd get the proof, and that's the thing I'm worried about, is what he will do with it.
That's what I'm worried about. But the other option is that, you keep your enemies closer. I don't know if that one is always beneficial.
I don't know if he's our enemy. But that's the problem, I don't know.
Why don't we each write down our vote and put it in a hat and then see where we stand?
I mean, I
Alright.
think it's better to just discuss as a team and make a decision as a team.
I'll go either
What
way.
if you wanted
hat
to
or not?
change? What if you wanted to be anonymous, Perrin?
Arena
feel
looks
like
at him like... It doesn't make sense, kid. We already know what you want to do, and we know what I want to do. So whatever the third vote would be, we'd figure it out with deduction.
But I get to vote twice.
Why do you get to vote twice? That makes no sense.
Because it's always 2 versus 1. I need some type of help. Where's Pietro when you need him?
What happens when we die then?
Well, then, nothing matters anymore.
Marina just shakes her head and is looking at Baron like, help.
I don't know, I want to take the deal, but I'm scared of what the consequences will be. We don't know, and that's the trick. That's how he gets deals in his favor, is by having it seem like something unimportant. Like, why on earth does he even need proof? What's that even for? And in fact, it is incredibly important and incredibly valuable.
Do you know what I do when I can't make up my mind?
Is it flip a coin?
I flip a coin.
I'm
And
not
that's
flipping.
exactly what I...
We all
We're
knew
not
it
flipping a
was-
coin for the fate of the universe.
Fine. Go tell him what you want, then.
Depending on who's controlling when we flip the coin, it could be helpful.
If I
Arena
just
thinks
knew
to
why he
herself.
needed the proof, I'd know whether it's a good idea or not. I need to know the nature of that spell, and
Well, we don't have time to make that decision. Although he said we could wait until we were leaving. To sign it, that is.
I'd rather get it over with. We have enough things to do.
We are a team after all, so if you decide on the vote to do it, we'll do it. But I am worried.
I vote yes. I don't see a downside. You're assuming there's some downside, and I don't see it.
Skid, it's Asmodeus. When has there never not been a downside?
I mean, the last
I
contract
can only
was a
go
pretty
off
good
my
one.
own experiences. And he saved you.
Because he wanted to get you on his side. This is exactly why he
It
wanted
worked,
to see.
Arena.
I know, and that's why he's probably smiling about it.
Plus, I don't know how we're going to pay for your very expensive gadget you're having commissioned.
The Chrono Watch is going to be expensive.
Whether we're in debt to a demon lord creature god or to the Arathane, and we still owe something to someone.
So, the last contract, it seemed very generous. It got us the help we needed in order to save Arena, and all we had to do was come and do this meeting, and we could just choose to forget it and it wouldn't matter anyway. But he did get something out of it, something that wasn't necessarily clear at the time. He got someone's eyes on the inside of the still behemoth, and we were the ones that provided the means to get in there. He probably knew already that we had that. That was why he did it. And now he has someone who's seen what's going on in there. That was the extremely valuable thing he got out of the deal. He's already got the real important part out of the contract, and the meeting is really just a small element. And that's
Killian
probably how
also
this works
delivered
too,
me.
is
Killian also delivered me
the box.
my
Yes.
8th star.
That might have just been Killian of their own volition.
It could have been. I'm unsure if it was linked.
But it's definitely possible it was the direction of Asmodeus. To sweeten the
Either
deal.
way, they've done nothing but help me, and I like to go based off of my own experiences, and they have been positive thus far.
Asmodeus did know Mistra.
Who doesn't?
All the gods knew her, but at the end of the day, I think they were on opposite sides.
We saw them on the thing together, though. Mistra, Dawn, Asmodeus, more Raven elemental things, which we assume are the Primordial Guard.
I mean, we saw all of the gods on the same side at one time. But the Dark Pact and the Divine Host exist.
Are you done yet? It's been a while. I've eaten the remainder of your fish pie.
Damn it, Perrin, I was going to tell you to bring that with us when we left.
Was that even a real fish pie?
It smelled like fish.
I wouldn't have eaten it even if he offered.
I had a lot of apparently real experiences while I was asleep, but I was actually just asleep and being shown visions, so...
Fish pie is good, though. You should try it. Maybe not from him, though.
I mean, I've eaten fish pie before, not as much as you managed to do in a single sitting, it would seem.
Never had any before. We had to try every flavor.
Are you done yet?
I need to ask him what this proof is for, and see if I can get anything else about it.
He's
because
being
I
too
need to
pushy.
know.
It worries me.
I need to know what it's for and what power that proof has before I'm going to agree to this.
He's not going to tell you. He's going to give you some convoluted answer. But I think it's worth asking.
It's worth asking, and then maybe we walk away and we forget, and so be it.
All right.
Arena gulps really heavily because she thinks that we're going to agree to this contract, and it makes her nervous.
I'm going to go back in.
Yeah, she'll step in.
So,
I think as I'm walking up, I'm like, I still don't understand why you need proof. Like, I'm pretty sure you know what's going on, and I think you know we know what's going on, not to get, too recursive. Why the proof? You shouldn't need proof.
I shouldn't need proof.
Because you should
The
already
proof isn't
know.
for me. Yes, and that's why I'm putting it in the contract. The proof isn't for me.
I don't think you need proof for anyone else to know either.
If it helps, the backer that I'm talking about is on your plane of existence.
Then they shouldn't need proof.
Is that what you're going to reply to everything? Even when I tell you something vaguely useful? Are you telling me what I should and should not need and what I should be asking for in my side of this? I'm
telling
offering you...
that I don't understand why it matters, and therefore I'm concerned as to why it's important to you.
Okay. It matters. Because I think your world needs every single potential avenue of defense right now. And it
Insight
is-
check.
Feel free.
Maybe we can try. Give it a go.
Oh no. It's bad.
Yeah, 10 and a 14.
I rolled a 10.
Like, seems good, but everything he said so far seemed good, so...
Yeah, no, genuinely, he's worried
I can-
about your world.
Yeah. I'm like, I can give you a flash of genius. That puts you at 19, but I don't know if that's enough, but I'll give it to you.
I don't think a 19's gonna do anything.
Worth
It
a
won't.
try.
It'll make it a 18.
Oh, okay.
Oh, 18.
From my understanding of how these things work, while continuing to beat around the bush, the proof...
With an 18,
Oh.
there is certainly some concern about your world. And it may be of help.
Alright. From what I understand about how this works, while continuing to beat around the bush, nobody needs proving. They just need telling, and that's enough.
Not what I have in mind, and not for the persuasivity I need. End of. You don't get to question my motives anymore. I have given you plenty. I helped save Arena. Having a look inside a steel behemoth is not exactly the most difficult. But don't get me wrong, it's tough. I saved Arena because Dragon Punch is of use to your world. I do not want your world 7 ways. If it can be really avoided. In this case, I have to have dominion over a good portion of dead souls. The Raven Queen very helpfully sends many to me. I do not want her transitory routes to be damaged. The River Styx already had issues recently. I do not want your world, in which the vast majority of the souls that I get come from, to be ruined either. While some might glory at the slaughter, that might be souls in the short term, maybe of use to someone like Bane. But I would consider it souls. To maybe use an ugly metaphor, like picking fruit before it's ripened, and with no chance to replant. Having such a huge and very messy war happen to the mortal plane would not be beneficial for the mortal plane, and it wouldn't be beneficial for me. Remember, long-term matters. I've been around for quite a while longer. Even than Arena, I know, and she's old by your standards, but still young at heart.
Well, you're much older than me.
You
Flatterer.
still fly the same banner as the likes of Bane.
Yes. Who do you think keeps Bane in line half the time? Who do you think stops Unbelief from just besieging you with a array of tsunamis?
So really,
Who
you're
do
a
you think-
sleeper agent for the Divine Host.
Oh, hell no. Every one of them has a rod up their arse, and every one of those rods has a rod up its ass. You wouldn't believe how many rods are inside that rod. It is rods all the way down. But I believe in keeping your word. I believe very strongly in that. And I do not want your world destroyed any more than you. In fact, more than you. Because I helped shape what it is today. From the very ground up. I helped protect what your continent is right now with the towers. I have fought and bled for your world. I do not want your world ravaged. Simple as.
See, Perrin, you can't always judge a book by its cover, as they say.
What do you want for the world?
It to survive another interminable question from Perrin, because at this rate it won't survive much longer. And Bane has a purpose, as everyone does. Much as your court does. Though you may diss them as being the enemy, every warrior on the battlefield has slight hope, a slightly more drive by the fact that there is something beyond to support and sponsor them. Every single bit of that devotion feeds back, and every bit of that power feeds them. Knowing that there'll be something after can be a very powerful motivator in people to strive above and beyond. I bet you wouldn't see anywhere near as many people going to towers if they thought that was it, the end. Death was final.
I know it's more complicated than good and bad.
Yes.
I did spend
And
most of
who
my
would be
life
good
worshipping a god within
if-
your court.
When you were alive, you did bad things and then instantly went to the good place. There is a purpose in a bad place, if only to motivate you to be good when you're alive. Because good actions seem to make people actually good. It seems to go more than skin deep. Consider me the stick. Some carrots. And enough talk of philosophy and questions. I don't normally play such games with people, but you have my interest. So, do you want to have a tentative vote of we do not mind entering the contract provided the price is good enough, and then we can discuss price next? Maybe we can adjourn for a short 8-minute break as well.
I don't want to agree to something unless all of us are willing to.
Majority rules.
It's more complicated than that. We are a team.
He means arena.
Sorry, I don't trust you.
That's okay. Don't you trust me? I'm not asking you to trust me. And you coming in here, you wouldn't trust me.
A contract requires trust.
Trust I'll keep my end of a contract? Is that what you're worried about?
We know you'll keep to the terms,
Okay.
but the terms leave you with this proof and the power to do with it as you will.
Yes. And
That's the
if I give you a
concern.
powerful magical artifact or power or fame, you could easily go and use that power or fame to ban churches of Asmodeus. You could use such a powerful item to go and kill my clergy.
Yes, but we're
Or you could go and support the enemy.
yes, but we're 3 level 12 adventurers. You're a god.
Yes, you're not giving me a god. You give me something worth money, power, fame, etc.
What if I don't want to give you any? That's where
And
the
that's
problem
fair
comes.
enough. You have that right, remember? I didn't think saving you was worthwhile only to have this meeting. I thought this meeting might be useful, might be interesting, might be insightful. But saving was worth it just to save you. Whether you believe that or not, every gnome matters to me. Except for Blablin. I can't stand him.
Arena looks sus. She does not trust this guy.
Oh no,
He's just
seriously,
saying
Blablin
whatever.
is such a suck-up. You think you have it bad.
Lablin doesn't respect contracts. He gave me a watered-down health potion to make sense.
Oh. That is not on. No. He tries too hard. It's embarrassing, really. And let's not even talk about Sir Gallant.
You're trying too hard.
No. Not with Sir Gallant, certainly. You should know by now that we aren't exactly aligned with what you know.
I think you do want what's best for the world. But you're still willing to utilize the situation for your own ends. Maybe when all this is done, the enemy is defeated, but ideally for you, you'll come out on top.
Ideally for you, you'll come out on top.
I mean, I don't plan on
Ideally
being
for...
a god at the end of this. I plan on have just, you know what? I plan on retiring. I think that sounds nice. Maybe I can open an
Yes,
antique
that's
shop.
on top for someone in your situation.
I like the balance we have now. It seems to work well apart from the part where everything's under existential threat.
Yes, that's because the balance isn't in balance. You seem to somehow think that only one aspect is wrong. No, it is a series of failures at a fundamental level.
And you'll be able to
Quite
fix all
frankly.
those if everyone just...
Oh. Not a chance. No, I'm not going to be able to fix everything. I intend to fix one small aspect with what you will give me. Make one small aspect better. And whether that better helps because you cock up where you're going so completely that this backup plan needs to be something, or whether this does not actually matter because you succeed where you're going and this never needs to be something I need to worry about. Either way, I would rather not have to rely entirely on you saving the world every time. But maybe I can at least make it slightly easier by not having to worry about one particular person. Either way, this is not going to fix the world. It will make it slightly better. Go. You can still change your mind. But when you exit this door, you will forget everything.
Who is this backup plan? Are they going to be able to fix things without ripping the world up in the process?
That is actually part of the point of what you're doing. Because the more you blunder about and accidentally tell people things, the more that might happen. And I have no interest in having a very large, destructive war that might damage what little society you have managed to set up in the ashes of the cataclysm. Plus, nobody needs Earth getting even worse. I think you know what I'm talking about on that one more than anyone.
I tried to tell them all this.
If you want, you could have another few minutes to go talk in your abode.
Arena, I've said what I think is going on. I think this proof will be used generally for the good of the world, but in the process, Asmodeus will probably get a leg up. Maybe that price is worth it. What do you think?
I think we will do whatever you decide, but I do it with caution.
All right, fair enough. On my head be it.
I can put that in the contract if you want.
It's there anyway, I imagine. One way or another.
Some symbolism. Very well.
We'll do it.
Oh. That was rather easy.
That was not
Okay.
me signing the contract, but agreeing that we will write up one.
Perfect. In which case, I give you an extension to keep your memories until we can come back here and finalize what exactly the payment shall be. In terms of magical item, I already had a couple of things in mind, and yes, a few mentions there. Have you got a new name? Bearer of the Eighth Star. Interesting.
I was honored with such a title recently.
You stink of dragon. Bahamut.
Have you seen me?
Getting around.
I wouldn't refer to the scent as stink, but to each their own.
I have a very powerful book I've been keeping since the Cataclysm. It did get out once or twice before that, but mostly it's been under lock and key. It is powerful. It can make one more intelligent than possible, more charismatic, powerful of presence, or even increase someone's might beyond what is capable for a mortal. It's a dangerous item, and one I would not let someone have in normal circumstances, but considering what you've said, I would potentially offer you to carry this book.
That sounds tempting. You wouldn't happen to know where to find any dragon orbs, would you?
Ah,
I've just been keeping an eye out, an ear down low.
so that's what Bahamut asked you. Interesting.
Several people have inquired upon such a legendary item.
Sure.
Deception check.
Oh,
At disadvantage
no.
because you literally said Dragon Orbs and Bahamut back to back.
Yeah.
No, actually, your deception's normal. It would be my insight is advantage.
Deception or
Deception, yeah.
deception? So normal.
Normal
Just
deception.
getting that 20 on it. That'd
Okay.
be perfect.
Oh, it rolled off an 18.
10. Wow. Even Perrin can tell you're lying.
Perrin didn't need
But
to know.
it's true. Because Arathane asked about it, and
but on
True,
behalf
but you're
of
trying to
Bahamut.
disguise and deflect attention. There is a difference between a lie and a truth and a deception. A deception can be true. The best deceptions are.
I
which
just
is
feel, yeah,
one
I
thing
just feel
Asmodeus
like,
knows.
of course, people are going to be interested in that. It's, you
Yeah.
know, it's,
In magical artifacts that no one really talks about and hasn't really been a thing for a few thousand years.
I was like, oh no.
look, I'm just trying to figure out where they're at. That's my mission. So I'm going to be asking around about them.
It's the moment where
I
we
don't
cut-
know.
It's the moment where we cut back to, when have I ever said anything that's got us in trouble?
It hasn't yet. There's been, I don't have a.
He said a lot of
metal
things that
jammed
haven't
into my
yet gotten
chest.
us in trouble,
Okay.
is the fair point.
Yeah.
What
Not
if
yet.
I offered to help you tame a dragon orb?
Not really interested in that.
Really?
Maybe at one point in time, but
Oh,
My
he
motives
has
have
got you
changed.
wrapped around his little finger. You have changed. Very well.
oh no, it's not Bahamut. Is so much.
There's a moment where Perrin's like, oh, I'm proud of Skith, he's growing, and then he's like, shut up! My pride is gone, it's back to normal.
Well, now he put two and two together, no problem.
You know what? I think you are very interesting, Skith. Maybe we
I'm gonna
should talk
kick
longer.
If you've got any more fish pie, I could be persuaded.
Of course. I have the best fish flown in from just off the coast of where I used to live by my imps.
By flown in, it's just a bunch of imps carrying it.
Oh yeah, no, entirely. It is like 10 imps, yeah.
Yeah.
5 fish pies. All of them,
I like this place, Baron.
they look
I
kind
don't.
of like familiar. Make an imp roll.
Okay. Come on. What the hell on my thing? Gotta repop out my.
He sees fish pies, it just pops out.
Where did? Oh, there it is. It was. There you go. 15. What? OBS open for some reason.
You remember you had housekeeper. She disappeared when you were maybe 13 or so. And you had a housekeeper who tended to cook fish pies for you. And she just disappeared, and one day your father said something on the lines of, "Oh, she's got a better job upstate in a farm, and she's going to be there. No, you can't go visit." But she made the best fish pies, and nowhere else has come close with the quality of fish pies. And these smell exactly like them.
So just like the ones back home.
I had her make them special for you.
Oh, did you know my old housekeeper?
She's in the back.
Oh, well, tell her I said hello. I always wondered where she went.
Did you not know?
I know what.
Oh. Did you enjoy what was in the box I got you, by the way?
I was wondering if you had a hand in that.
I thought you might enjoy it.
Was that something we left behind? Perhaps in the sewers.
Oh, you did. Managed to singe a few eyebrows, from what I recall.
It's very important. If you find anything else like that, I would be happy to barter.
Okay. Take the pies. You've earned them. I appreciate someone who is a lot more talkative.
Of course. I'm always down to chat. They always
They
try
grew
to
up in
shut
that
me
same
up.
time.
They say, Skid, don't say this. Skids, don't say that.
I might have a bartender around here who used to do some bartending for your grandfather, I think. Maybe we should get you a few drinks at some point and have a bit of a chat.
Why do you employ so many people that I used to know?
So let's say it runs in the family. Anyway, you agree to the deal in principle. The only thing to be debated is the price. And let us just fix one price in case we can't agree on any of the others. Considering what we've been offered. The book I spoke of. He'll be able to make you even if you were the strongest person alive, it could make you 10% stronger than you were.
Sound good? Look to the others.
Sounds almost like a tower level.
The benefit of this is you can still do that, and you can put it on top.
All right.
Okay. We can negotiate the other parts, but in principle, you agree to the deal. If we negotiate no other rewards, that is the reward, but the other ones are still on the table for us to discuss at a later date. I can send you out some things, we can do it by post, we can agree to the extra stuff without having to go through the rigmarole of extra rooms.
It would be worth knowing exactly what form the proof needs to take, but presumably it's something we can achieve.
Something you could achieve, something could be given to me. Good enough memories I could take from you, if you can perceive something and remember it with enough accurate clarity.
All right.
We need good
Seems-
quality memories, though.
Seems reasonable enough.
Of course. In which case, here is your contract. It's got a parchment on a table, quills, 3 different.
Definitely want to review that.
Yep, reading the whole thing.
Reading the whole
In check.
just base int.
Just base int.
Not a.
And I'll read it
investigation.
too.
Oh,
11.
I would say it's just probably raw int, I guess.
they're the same anyway. So.
If it was an
Can I add?
investigation, I'd have 16.
Can I add my flash of genius on this?
Or not 16, I'd have 15.
Too tricky, you can see. Probably say not, just because it's going to take you like probably 10 minutes to read through this entire thing, and it's a bit too much of a process to kind of react to. But 19 is really good. You do definitely note, I think just you, if you do betray Asmodeus, and I mean betray not like just don't complete the deal, I mean like you go and you find the backer and you're like, hey backer, this dude wants us to do this or whatever. If you let on to the backer or Saravel or anyone connected, or you construct it in some way that they find out, like you leave a note that accidentally falls out your pocket or something, any notice given by you to them is counted as betrayal. If you betray Asmodeus, your souls are forfeit. If you don't complete the deal, then you have your memories wiped about the exact specifics. You vaguely know that you got into the deal and you failed, but you can't remember the specifics of what was discussed here, or what specifically you did for the purpose of the contract. And you have a year to complete it, technically. Or until it would become impossible to complete.
Right.
Seems okay, right?
As far as I can tell, but I'm not exactly a lawyer.
Yeah, Arena shares that sentiment.
Alrighty.
Who signs?
Is there some kind of like spell or anything on this contract beyond what would be expected? Outside of the words that I read, and
I mean, there are a few. You are binding yourselves effectively to a Gaius, so like some of the terms under the contract, like the stuff about forgetting, etc. Like if you don't complete your objective or you go against this or the other, is effectively this kind of thing you've entered into and agreed to. And if you go against what you've agreed,
then the negative effects of the spell kick in. Beyond that, not that you have noticed. You can definitely see that there is a space where it says the name of the backer, but it is just completely blank. You can kind of make out there's a vague fuzziness to it, like there's a certain static, but it's a blank. And even if you try and focus on it, you're not sure how big the space is. It seems to kind of contract. You get this kind of weird, very slight lensing, like tunnel vision, that very specific area, and you're not sure. Like it could be a 6-inch long space. It could also be like half a centimeter. You don't know. It's very difficult. As soon as you focus on it, your eyes kind of go cross-eyed.
We can't be sneaky and be like, how many letters? 'Cause it's like, how many letters? Like... And the answer is yes.
Well,
maybe there aren't even letters. Not all names have to be letters.
Yeah, just wondering if there was like another thing beyond just obviously
unholy
intelligence,
into
like
written
arcana
form.
or something.
I mean, you could arcana the contract, but you'd be looking very specifically for like magics and symbols and stuff. And I do tell you now, there probably is. Like, you can definitely see that there is some magical element to this contract, but it's also, this is expected to be a magical contract.
Gotcha.
And it is binding probably in a way that involves godly power rather than having to be, I've written runes that say, if you touch this, you die. It's more innate to the thing. You're binding yourself involving a power of a god.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Look, man, I'm just trying to make sure I'm not like signing my soul
The
away.
power, from what you understand and how it works, and now you've got training in religion, the power is probably in the domain, and the domain being, in this case, actually the power of effectively binding agreements. There is a certain aspect to that which is respected across the pantheon, and it is probably innate in the binding agreement. The words are what would bind you and what you agree to.
Right.
The most dangerous provision that you would pick out, I've already told you about.
Yeah.
I will assign.
I relay that. I've relayed everything too.
Okay, Baron, you... As you do so...
Heart goes into her stomach.
You can't see ink, and you put the quill to the paper, and it writes, and it is red. For this one, it is red.
Mm-hmm. I'll hold out the quill for others to take.
They have their own quills. There are 3 quills.
Okay. I just keep hold of the quill, or I put it back down, or I don't know, whatever I'm supposed to do with it. Whatever seems clear.
Give my quill a little lick on the tongue and then sign.
Okay. Again. Slightly kind of... more... thicker. Kind of a richer, slightly darker red. Only slightly, but considering most blood is the same everywhere, it's a little bit more noticeable. But...
Arena's like super uncomfortable. As her heart is in her stomach. She just holds the quill and takes a deep breath and says,
May the matron's wings shield us.
she signs the contract.
Those words don't work here, but fair.
Look, she's praying as much as she can in her heart and soul right now. She's like, what am I doing?
Maybe the words do work here, but he's not exactly going to say that, is he?
I
Okay.
imagine in this, like, considering the circumstances, the Raven Queen probably hears nothing, has no idea that she's being prayed to.
I don't know, but Arena would do
Perfect.
that.
I'll have that. Here are your copies.
What did my blood look like?
Very similar to Perrin's seemingly nice bright red.
Interesting.
Dragonborn blood's probably weird.
Yeah, but you're like not a you. You're like something else now, so that's why I was wondering if yours
His
would be
heart
different.
beats, he just doesn't breathe.
Okay. All right.
There's
Yeah.
still blood in my veins for now.
Mm-hmm. Until you eat us all.
And he
Just
did
not
sign with his right
oxygenated.
hand, I will point out.
Yep, but just
Okay.
it's for the best that it's the left that got messed up.
What
You
if he
each
signed with his
get-
other hand? It's
We'll
not
never
really
know.
his hand, you know?
Let's not risk
could've been
whatever
like a
the hell
loop.
that. I feel like we
Get
should,
out of that?
considering what the contract is for, signing it with that hand would be really interesting.
That's why I was
get the feeling that,
curious.
like, if Parent attempted to sign with his left, it just wouldn't work.
All right.
So, you get a copy of the contract for Dragon Punch. It's a very abbreviated form. It isn't the full contract. It is merely kind of a, this is what's required of you, and here is your reward. And it just lists, look. And then there's space below. You're also aware that there's some sort of enchantment on the writing. As you look at it, you can definitely read it, but you can kind of feel that you have to focus a bit more.
Okay. Well, it was lovely talking to you. I believe Perrin was trying to tell you about something. So I guess he's going to go and discuss the 9 others he talked to. And then I guess he's going to have to pick one. Or he's going to remain a very powerless warlock. Not a powered paladin, though. He swings his sword with quite a might.
Don't use a sword these days.
Yes. Probably good, considering how many you've broken.
Probably
How's the arm?
best. Yeah.
Well, enjoy. It was lovely chatting to you all.
Pleasure doing business. I hope it stays that way.
We'll do our best to fulfill our agreement.
It's fine, I just wish for a business relationship. I expect it to be pleasure, Perrin.
That's what I'm worried
Never.
about.
And if it makes you feel any better, Arena, you didn't need to sign in blood, but tradition when souls are involved.
It doesn't.
I think
I
it makes it
appreciate your
worse for her.
honesty. You may go. Your door takes you back to your actual room now.
Oh, I'm out. I'm out of there.
Give a nod, and I will leave.
Yes, before we go.
I don't want to
Yes.
the door till I see Skith start to follow. Mind.
You said you go.
Yeah, but I was.
He was
I was-
starting to follow. This is as soon as you pass through, and he was starting to follow.
I didn't want to say it to interrupt the mood, but Perrin wasn't going to leave until Skith was gone. Was at least heading out.
He was heading out, but he wasn't out. Was when I was trying to catch him. So unless you were going to go after him,
So as Perrin gets to the door, he glances over his shoulders and sees Iskith standing and walking towards the door.
If he asks me before I go, I will stop and turn my head. But
he was only going to ask once Perrin had gone.
yeah,
Okay, that means
So-
yeah, I'm out and Skith's walking out,
Okay.
and this is the
Does
first
Skith
and last time
On the
Perrin
doorstep, do you
leaves bef-
pause?
doesn't leave last.
Do you pause?
Like me? Or
No, Skith.
yeah, I'm
oh
going.
yeah, no, I
Okay,
yeah, I
cool.
said I was going to turn my head.
Just checking.
Don't worry. I'm not exactly a fan of your brother either. Just want to reassure you on that since your friends are a little bit hesitant.
They'll learn.
Also,
There's a balance to everything.
yeah. Interesting. Okay. Maybe we'll talk more at some point. You should go. They're going to wonder where you are.
Right. Just let me know. And then he'll
I will
head
do.
out. This
When he
is
comes
your
through.
fault. He's open-minded now to people's bullshit. All right. And he was
Arena
already
comes-
gullible.
Arena comes through. Perrin comes through. Skith
Dude,
comes through.
Arena
No
was
gap.
like, this is not a good idea. Do not trust
course,
this
no
guy.
gap.
He does not, he's not trustworthy. He's only going to do things that are going to benefit him. That is the words
But-
that you heard from her. She was not like, hey, be open-minded with Asmodeus.
I know. But
So
but
don't
be
blame me.
open-minded with the ghost child, like in
Mhm.
the Shadowfell, like I'm just saying you can't go you've taught him don't have preconceived notions of people. So he's trying to give people a chance.
There you go.
Especially if they haven't
This is not
demonstrated.
people. This is an evil god.
Evil's such a broad term.
Yeah.
Just to
there has to
recap.
be
Do what
Has
you
to
want,
be-
though, bro, homie. I love this.
Arena comes through, Perrin comes through, Skith comes through, and there is no gap.
Yeah, and that means we'll never know anything, but it means that we as humans playing D&D know that sod held Arena in the in-between space as soon as she stepped through, already had the plan in place to do shenanigans with that.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. I love it. It's great.
Yeah, once Skith comes through, Perrin is like, okay, in the name of all the gods except that one, I know I push my luck, but you push all our luck, pointing at Skith.
I was fully prepared to go with the group and not agree. You agreed of your own accord.
I know, I
I
know.
just
we
voiced my
we-
opinion.
We decided as a team, but you gotta be careful
Look,
what tidbits
I-
you start dropping in conversation.
Yes, but I have other goals in mind, and if I'm to achieve them, then I have to be able to at least ask questions. If I'm going to find where these dragon orbs are, I need to at least be able to inquire about them.
Yes, but now Asmodeus, of all beings,
Now there's
knows
someone
that
else at the door.
Bahamut's
Arena
looking for
is
them.
going to look through the hole before she opens the door this time.
You
while
look
they're
through the
having-
bottom hole and you see some knees. These
will
Who
knees
look
recognizes
are...
his
the-
knees?
I will look through the top hole.
Okay, firstly, the knees are immaculate, kind of pressed cloth of some kind. It looks kind of vaguely shiny, maybe like a velvet suit or something. You look through the top. There is a human there with kind of scales you can see coming from like the neck. Very like chest forward, shoulders back,
They're
Starting
wearing
to
very
attention, holding a
fancy
little cushion.
pants.
And Arena
Is-
opens the
is-
door.
Is it a
Probably hits Perrin in the
dragonborn?
face.
human.
But it's a human, but they have scales.
Scales coming from the neck, kind of stopping about there.
I think when Perrin sees that, he puts a hand on the hammer, where the other two can see, and then opens the door.
Arena probably hits Perrin in the face with the door because she doesn't realize Perrin is looking up there. She just opens
So it's
it.
like,
like- it's
what?
like- yeah.
She's like,
Ah.
fancy
so Perrin-
pants! And
Perrin's
she
like-
opens the door.
Hammer, and then bonk, and then lets the door open.
This is now going to be in Draconic, so Arena doesn't get this, but the rest of you. From the Lord Arcanus Saravel himself, he would bid you, his long lost brother, move aside,
I move aside. Still got my hand on the hammer.
Skith, formerly of House Ulralf, to join him for lunch.
What? I don't understand anything you just said.
It's a dinner
I like your
invitation.
pants, though.
My brother wants a lunch.
Oh, I like lunch.
It's only
I don't
been
know.
20 years.
Is there a certain time? A date?
Hopefully somewhere. Neutral.
I can, of course, answer to the great Skith or his appointed representative of high standing.
I look
Where
to
is this
Skiff.
to be at, Finn? Where and when?
He wishes to dine near the sea in, of course, the Asia satrapy, where, of course, the greatest food in the continent is to be found. He has already paid for you to be transported via a medium you would be more comfortable with, rather than trusting in one of his archaeomancers. The Circle Guild have been given the coordinates for you alone, and he humbly bids that you attend. If you are worried, he has also bid I should provide some assurances. He pulls out a sheath of parchment. It is declared by the Grand Council that Skith, formerly of Hasseldroff, be reinstated as Skith, pending reappointment to his place at House Uldroth, should he show himself worthy and of use to the Ashir satrapy. He is, of course, under the protection of the council directly, and will not be harmed, damaged, slain, or otherwise come to a grievance because of any one. This is yours.
Would I think that? Would
If
that
it would
be
help,
like?
I may converse in common if you wish me to debase my mouth with the tongue.
That won't be necessary.
I, with regret, will speak this language that you wish. Switching to common. But I
So
derive no
funny.
pleasure in it.
Oh, I'm sorry. I just don't understand what you're saying. But I like your pants.
Would I think that I would be safe based off of all the assurances politically, or would I still think it's a trap?
He could do it, but it would be very difficult politically for him. It would be really, really much more awkward and costly for him politically, because the satrapy is quite influenced by Asmodeus, and going against a word, especially one that's given so formally, would be costly. It'd be very costly. It'd be much.
So if you went against it, it would be potentially very bad. Okay.
Yeah.
And he wants just me to go. Am I not to have at least one guest with me? Will it just be my brother in attendance, or will there be others to entertain?
It was to be a personal invitation for you two to dine alone. If you needed assurances beyond the Grand Council, Lord Saravel has instructed me to provide you with additional assurances.
Which are?
I was given a letter which I cannot announce. It is for your eyes only.
I will step fully aside to give him a path to hand this letter to Skith. I still have a
Alright.
hand on the hammer.
I suppose I should read this in private before I inform you of a decision. And how would be best to reach you?
You can read it now. I believe it is for yours only.
All right. Look it over.
As soon as you start looking at it, these words kind of swim into view and then instantly start disappearing as you go over them.
Okay.
Brother, just in case you didn't believe the evidence of the Grand Council, which understandable considering the bad blood, I will dine with you, and I also will dine with your friends. You can dine where I control in the Ashes entropy, and I can dine at their new inn in Near-Death at the same time.
How is that at the same time? That doesn't make any sense. What do you two think?
Does Skith
We
say
didn't
what
hear
the
that
letter
right.
says to us?
Yeah,
Unless he's
I'll
reading
share.
it out loud very quickly, but he can share it afterwards. He's read it.
He's got ways of being in two places at once. Perfect. He's got ways of being in two places at once.
But
Right.
we already knew that.
Also,
But I can't be in two places at once.
I think he's saying that one of him will dine with you near the sea, that's rich, and then the other one will dine with me and Arena in the inn, which he could just kill us all in two different battles in that case.
Yeah, none of that sounds good.
Me and Arena would have a better chance in the middle of a city held by the Lumarian Empire, for better or worse.
If he were to become violent after issuing such a formal request, it would be politically very difficult to recover from.
What did he do with all of your other siblings?
There was no formal request.
Yeah.
And that is tacitly accepted. Like, it's a bit different if you tell someone very formally through all of these protocols they'll be safe. It's a bit different.
I see. Come dine with me so I can murder you.
Mhm.
All right.
We travel to the Aesir Satrapy and we make ourselves seen publicly and often before this meeting.
I'm willing to hear him out. I
don't
just
think we
don't
should
know what to
use
do
the
if it
second
is a
one.
trap.
If you want to dine with him, I don't think we should dine with him also.
Think it would be better if you did. Then at least you would have sight on a copy of him, at least. So I wouldn't have to fight two of them at once. I can always try to banish myself and randomly get poofed somewhere.
Unless there's like an anti-magic field inside the place that you're eating at.
But if there was, then no one's casting any spells.
Oh wait, never mind. That wouldn't work because the only reason it worked last time was because I was not on my home plane. If I'm on my home plane, it'll put me in a
You can't banish to the plane that you're
safe
on.
I
area.
also really like the idea of two
Yeah.
really powerful, magic users. One wizard and a sorcerer, really high level, both punching each other to death because they're in a magic field that takes ages.
Yeah. Probably wouldn't take that
That's
long.
why it's called Dragon Punch.
Really? They probably don't have a strength bonus, so it's going to be 1 point of damage if they hit. And they each,
don't have
if
a
really
lot of
high level, have
It
I mean, 100 HP? Even a low level sorcerer wizard? It'll take a long time.
Beating
will
the
take
crap
that.
out of each other for like 10 minutes.
Yeah.
The servants
Like
are
a
like,
slap
do we
fight.
intervene?
Just like,
What's your strength?
wait.
13, I think.
That's not bad.
So-
No.
1 point
9.
of damage still.
It's 9.
Oh, okay.
Oh.
1
okay,
point of
that's-
damage still. It's minimum 1. 100 attacks.
That's all.
Yeah.
No big deal.
So-
when is this?
Today.
It seems we have a very busy schedule in here. I thought we'd have a moment of respite.
He was hoping to catch you last night. However, by the time I reached Inverlean, you had departed.
I suppose that we'll be fine. We don't want to show weakness.
Can it be delayed, though? That
You are related by blood to the great Saravel. By the very definition, you cannot be weak.
Technically, I am his elder.
I'm sure your age will be of no major impediment.
I'm willing to meet with him if you two are fine with it.
It's your brother.
it would be nice to have more warning, but
If you had
try
a
it.
fixed abode, it would be more useful.
we're adventurous.
Well, we own a
we're
bar,
staying.
but not an
Don't
inn.
tell-
I did start my visits at such a bar. I had learned that you had departed a few days ago in the direction of the despicable town of Mast. When I got there, you had seemingly disappeared.
We've been busy.
And then you went to Inverlean.
Yes?
How do you know we were there?
I was told to go to Inverlean. I merely follow the orders of the great Saravel Arcanis and his household staff.
He's been keeping close tabs.
Is that a no?
Boss.
It's up to you, Skith.
Your brother, if you trust him.
I don't trust him, but it could give us good insight and bring us closer to our goals. I'm no coward. I'll meet with him.
Very well. I'm glad that you will be able to make the appointment. I have here a menu. Please circle the options that you wish and place it in the envelope. The meal will be ready. You must do so at least an hour before, or the food cannot be guaranteed to be made to the standard that one such as yourself deserves. Do you wish me to send any additional messages regarding the missive that you received for your eyes only?
Do I that statue that I got from my brother-in-law? Did I have to like crush that or break that to use that, or would I still have a piece
no,
of
it was
it
made of like
intact?
plaster, and it was like
I was gonna send that, but if I don't have it, then no, I don't. I'll just see you soon.
That would have been some excellent symbolism.
very well. I will pass on your message in such a manner as is appropriate for one of his standing. See you soon. I look forward to meeting the great Saravel, and walks up. It was an honor to meet you.
I will close the door. Okay, I need to buy
And with that-
Ascending Stone Pear. You take one, I take another. If he tries
With
to kill
that,
you,
the
we'll
end
kill
of the
him.
episode. We're already over.
I was not expecting that. I might just be dead.
Jesus Christ.
We'll see. I can't just say no. I feel like I can't just say no to that.
Like my plan for this
Fucking
episode was like,
asshole.
okay, as soon as I wake up, we're gonna have a team meeting, and I'm planning the things I'm gonna say in this team meeting. We didn't get to the team meeting.
No, you took
I wanted to.
2 hours to decide.
You
On a
had a
contract.
god present us with a contract, where if we
Not just
screw
any
it up,
god.
we lose our souls.
Asmodeus.
Yeah, the god of sneaky contracts.
No, screw up. You don't lose your soul. Betray, you lose your soul.
Yeah.
Or, okay, be that incompetent that you end up effectively betraying. Yes.
But here's the
It's waiting for it to turn out that
Yeah.
Mystra's actually the one commanding
It's-
Saravel, and it was all a misunderstanding.
main worry.
She wanted
here.
me to
Yeah,
go
I-
check
I'll
shit out too.
Save it.
Yeah, after show material, I guess.
Yeah, I
Right.
have thoughts.
This is gonna go through the stuff real quick. Show's wonky for a while. Bentham, real quick, do the show wonky.
Yeah, so we're going to continue to be starting an hour later for the next few weeks because of shenanigans, and we're going to be playing the after show of the previous week in the pre-show. So this after show we're about to do, if you tune in at the normal time next week, you'll get a chance to watch that before we come to the normal episode. And also, if your clocks change this weekend, then the show will become 1 hour earlier for you, whatever else is going on. Because time zone shenanigans are the worst. So if your clocks have never changed, the show's now just 1 hour later for you permanently, and also an extra hour later for the moment. We'll announce when it's going to go back.
Character sheets coming through soon for both shows. Also sponsored by Roll20. Bentham, what are you doing? When we see you?
I'm Bentham. You can find me on YouTube and Twitch, where I go by the name Angle Pork, and on Twitch you can often find me playing Barra Trauma and Terran Victor currently, except this week where you couldn't, but hopefully this coming week you will. That's me.
Maggie, what are you when we find you?
I'm Margaret Kern. You can find me at Margaret Kern and all the places. I do lots of things on the internet. If you want to find them, go there. And I also make games and video games for a living. I'm working on a project called Ashes of Creation. You can find it at Ashes of Creation in all the places. That's me.
Come on, who are you?
Hey, I'm Cobalt Shriek. I just got back from vacation. I'm going to be starting back my normal stream schedule tomorrow. Going to be doing some Isaac, some Brotato, maybe some Magic stuff, checking out a bunch of different games. And yeah, 5 p.m. Central, and you can come check us out on our wonky schedule for D&D on Thursdays. So see you then. Thanks for watching.
Right. Okay.
Your turn.
What?
Your turn.
I am Interlysium. You can find me twitch.tv/Interlysium. Doing stuff and things, and I guess at some point maybe designing the sheer entropy. Enjoy.
Right. That's it. Bye.
Okay, we'll go to see you next time.
Bye.
Bye.